We are It's Just a Hill, a cycling club that promotes inclusion, judgment-free, with no gatekeepers. Focused on creating content from behind the handlebars to in the studio, It's Just a Hill is producing videos and podcasts to spread the message that cycling is for everyone. We are focused on reminding everyone that riding your bike can help you overcome any obstacle, because after all, it's just a hill.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the It's Just a Hill Cycling Podcast. I am John Stenning, and wow, today, bikepacking boys. Gentlemen, how are you? Let's go around in a circle and say hi, starting to my left, please.
Hi, this is Adam.
Hi, this is Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Brian.
Hello, this is Sam.
Great. Now everyone has memorized our voices. And we went bikepacking, right? That's what we're here to talk about. We went bikepacking just a little over a week ago. We got done. And we're going to talk about the trip. I have the route here in front of me. I have I should probably pull up our Stravas too, but I have the bikepacking. Bikepacking.com is a thing.
It is.
Did everyone, so Brian and I did this last year. We knew bikepacking.com was a thing. Did the other three of you guys know that was a thing?
Yeah,
Nope.
that's how I found the actual route to download the GPX file.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't. Wow. Hey.
The video was rolling? All right.
The video was rolling, but I'm not going to stop it.
You had to move it. You just had to move it.
Technical.
So for those not watching. You downloaded it off the website?
I did it not this year, last year.
Last year.
Because I wanted to see.
He followed us.
Yeah, I wanted to see what you guys were up to.
Because the route that we did was slightly different.
Slightly.
A little bit. Bikepacking.com is 255 miles with a total ascent of 21,200 feet. It says that 63% is unpaved, 4% is single track, and the highest point is 2,428 feet above sea level, which is Lincoln Gap, right? Mm-hmm. It's got to be the highest point. I didn't really look into that too much. The official Brian route. Brian made the route.
Just the beginning.
What?
Just the beginning.
Just the beginning, yeah. Not to take anything away from Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, who contributed to this. Joe Cruz. Fuck. I didn't mean to make that mistake.
Joe Cruz.
Joe Cruz. Sorry, Joe.
Is it Joe?
Ted
It's Joe. I have his little...
Ted King and Joe Cruz.
Thank you. That's what it was. Route designed and scouted by Joe Cruz and Logan Watts. Originally published in October of 2016. And, the Brian's route, 256 miles, upped them by 1 mile. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Good for you.
Yeah, so all I did was take the Burlington start and move it up.
Right, because we started at a park and ride.
Right.
Which is technically in Colchester, Vermont, but I thought it was in Winooski for about a year. It's just north of Winooski. Yeah. But people have asked us for the address to the park and ride, and so I've had to be specific and give that to them on YouTube. So
why are you giving people away secrets?
It's
Joe
just
Cruz,
a park ride.
Add an address.
Joe Cruz gave out the whole route. I think I can give out an address. Yeah, an address to a park and ride.
It does start in an interesting... I think it starts right at Foam Brewing.
Oh, okay.
It starts and ends there.
Are you meant to get a beer right when the ride starts?
Probably.
So that's the whole thing with this ride. The Green Mountain Gravel Growler. And, here's a direct quote from the website. It's an extraordinary loop that weaves a selection of Storybrooke Farm dirt roads, flowy New England single track, and rugged, historic woodland paths to create a circuit of some of the world's best and most coveted craft beers. We went to mad breweries, and we passed even more.
I think we went to 3 breweries.
Okay, maybe that's not me.
But
We could have gone to more,
Could have gone to more.
Our experience, other than the breweries, that was spot on.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
that just said.
Right,
Storybook.
flowy New
It
England
was
single
like
track.
Storybook.
Yeah, it was like Storybook, yeah. So just north of Burlington is where we started. You go through Burlington just a bit, and then you just sort of go downhill into the town, and then we're quickly out of Burlington on more busy roads, a little bit. Then you sort of get outside of that and get into the route. Before we get into the route too much, first of all, my fun fact, Burlington, Vermont, the least populous state capital in the USA. I love that fun fact.
I've been telling a lot of people that.
It's a great fun fact. And then if you... no, Burlington, Vermont is not the capital. Montpelier is the capital. The least populous state capital in the U.S. But Burlington is the most populous city in the state, but it is the least populous, most populous city, if that makes sense.
It does.
No.
That's-
Yeah. So that's a double fun fact. What do you mean, but? I wrote this shit down. Don't butt me.
But
He thought a lot about this.
Yeah, I wrote this
sounds
down.
like Jeremy doesn't understand.
Oh, okay, wow. Really going hard.
I don't fully understand it, but I'm gonna just
You just going to let it lie?
yeah.
We can break it down and just have a whole podcast be about that.
Okay.
So there's 50 cities in each state. One in each state.
Yeah.
In each city, there's a
In Rhode
there's the
Island,
most
it's
popular
Providence.
City.
Yeah.
That's the least of all of those.
Understood.
Yeah, there we go. Great. Thanks, Adam. There's that
The more you know.
like engineer at work. Okay. First, I'd like to talk about our bikes and our gear that we used on the trip, if that's okay. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah,
Yes.
I like bikes.
Yeah, you like bikes. Brian, what bike did you use this year?
This year, I used a 2018 Cannondale Super X with SRAM Force mechanical 1x, 40 tooth chainring, 1146 cassette.
Nice.
Yeah, with a Salsa EXT. Is it EXT or EXP?
I think it's EXP.
EXP, Salsa EXP bar bag, a Rock Brothers 14-liter saddlebag, and a 4.5-liter Top Peak half frame bag.
Pretty similar to a different bike than you used last year.
Different bike, yeah.
And your out front mount was different this year than it was last year, right?
Yeah. My gearing was a little better.
Yep.
I had the same cassette, but a 42 last year.
1142.
42 chainring.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So I had 2 less gears in the front.
Gotcha.
2 less teeth in the front this year.
And that was on your Lauf.
Correct. Last year was my Lauf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any upsides of riding that bike versus riding the other bike? Like, what was your reflection since you did it last year and you rode a different bike with some different gear? How did that like compare from one year to the next?
I would say the climbing was easier, obviously, because I had a little bit better gearing. That the Cannondale was not set up really for a lax ride because the steer tube is hacked.
Yep.
So
Slammed.
my
That shit is
shoulders
slammed.
slammed.
Yeah.
My shoulders were feeling it by the third day. But other than that, I mean, it's a great bike. I felt good on it. It's snappy and it climbs well and handles all the trails really well.
Yeah. So no problem
light.
with the extra weight.
It's
and-
light.
It's very light.
Lighter than the Lauf, which
Yeah.
was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great bike.
Hell yeah.
What were
Nice.
you running for tires? I don't know if you.
Gravel King 38s, the special edition, like teal colored ones.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Looks like you just ran over someone's gender reveal party.
Yeah.
balloon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, they're gender reveal tires. It's a boy.
It's a boy.
Yeah.
It's a Super X.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Hell
So, yeah.
yeah. Jeremy, you got some bike stats for us?
Yeah.
Hit us.
Oh, you want to hear them?
Yeah, please.
Straight from 96, folks. What's up?
I had my Lauf Weekend Warrior, and I had, what is it, 43s? Are those 43?
That's the Anywhere one, right? Like the Lauf Anywhere Weekend
Yeah.
Warrior? Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
It
I think
is.
so.
It is.
What? Oh, so the Weekend
Yeah,
Warrior
I'm
has
pretty sure.
different.
Like the Weekend
think
Warrior is
so.
like a trim package that they put on the True Grit, on the Sigla, and on the whatever. Like that's,
Oh, gotcha.
that's a level of
Yeah.
all three of those.
Yeah.
models, yeah.
Okay, so apparently it was the Anywhere edition of.
Yeah.
I had
Anyways,
to look at it a lot from behind you.
is that all you were looking at from behind?
Yes.
Yeah, is that all my?
That's all you have?
Base bike stats? No, I'm gonna get into the bags, but I'm trying to think if there was anything special about. No, just had
Were you
one.
the only one with an electronic drivetrain?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were.
Oh damn!
SRAM E-Tap
Why'd you bring a battery charger?
for you.
For you.
Oh, what a guy!
Well, I mean,
I asked for
yeah,
it.
Brian was like, can you bring SRAM charger? Jeremy's is screwed to the wall.
Oh yeah, it was screwed to the wall.
So it's like, okay, Jeremy's got some cool, sick like way that he displays his bikes at home and keeps
yeah.
them. So I assumed like that was like built into
Thanks,
that.
John. Appreciate it.
It looks,
I
it
didn't
looks
even-
great.
I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think that.
Well, you didn't end up needing them though.
No, I just brought one battery,
You brought a spare.
and it had I think it had half the battery left, which figures out. I calculated how many derailleur shifts I had. It was
Oh yeah, I saw that. So it was like 11,000 or something,
no, it
wasn't it? 1,100.
No, it wasn't that much. I think
3,000.
I think it was 3,300 or
Oh
something
damn!
like that.
Wow. It was still a good amount.
Yeah, let me pull up these stats real quick. But yeah, other than that, the bags that I had a Rock Bros saddlebag, which was like an extended saddlebag.
Did all four of you guys run that same saddlebag?
I did not.
Oh, you did not.
I had an REI.
Oh,
saddlebag.
gotcha. So
Yeah.
three of you did.
Yeah, that's right.
And then three of you ran the same Rock Bros out
Yep.
front bag.
Yes.
Sam, you were one of those.
Yes, I had that Rock Bros front bag.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had the Rock Bros front bag that had my tent in it. And the thing about the rear bag is I didn't have it packed right, which I figured out like halfway through the second day, and Brian assisted me with fixing that.
Tent poles.
Yeah, I had my tent poles in my frame bag, and that really wasn't doing much good. It didn't even really fit in there too well. So we moved the tent poles to the rear, the saddlebag, and it kind of straightened it out because before it was just sagging down, and when we were hitting that pave section, it was just
Thing was folded in half.
Yeah.
just bouncing off the back tire. And my front bag, I like packed it too wide after camping, and it was like bulging at the center. So
Yeah.
like that was getting loose on the handlebars, and it was like dragging on the front tire. I didn't have like a lot of clearance. They give you like little spacers that you can put underneath the front handlebar bag.
Clearance between the bag and your tire.
Yeah, I didn't use any of those, which I kind of wish now I put one between my head tube and that, because it's just like a nice scuff on the front, which I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gravel bikes. That's what gravel bikes are for.
yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, what was I gonna say? I was gonna tell you the amount of derailleur shifts I had.
Yeah.
Where was that?
You
Now,
gotta go
what
on
tells you
Hammerhead's
this?
website.
Your Hammerhead tells you this?
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I had
'Cause
to,
it's linked with
I had
your,
to add them together the
ETAP.
3 days.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I can look on like my tarmac how many shifts.
Yeah.
3,381 derailleur shifts.
You heard it here, folks.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is your fingers tired?
Wow.
Wow.
No, it's actually very. I love.
That means that's how many times your fingers press those.
Bing, bing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
The thing that I love the most about ETAP, like I like mechanical over electronic shifting, but the one big thing is you
Said no one.
can downshift while holding the brakes. That's like the biggest thing for me. Like you can pull the brakes and you can just like tap the downshift button.
You can with mechanical.
But
It's a lot harder.
You have to like
It's definitely harder.
Yeah.
like
And you
really
probably
scoop
don't
it.
want to be doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a pain in the ass.
Right.
But yeah, that was it for my bike. Oh, I had originally I had my water bottles placed on the underneath the frame bag, but it's like very hard to get them out like that. So I switched them to the front fork.
This is something you did before we even started, right?
Yeah. I mean, I lost my water bottles like 4 times.
Sam has something to say about that.
Just get better cages.
Yeah, who didn't pick something up for me?
I did.
And it was all on downhills too.
Yeah. I have video footage of
Yeah.
the bottle coming out on the descent after Lincoln Gap.
I lost.
You can put them wherever you want. It just comes down to the cages.
Yeah. I think
That's
my
true.
cages are just collapsed on that bike. I never have that problem when they're on the center.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways,
Who knows?
yeah, that was pretty much it. I only had 2 water bottles. I drank like maybe 1 water bottle every fill up.
Yeah, that's out of control. You drink such
We
little
went on
water.
a ride today and he had no bottles.
Yeah, we went on a 50-mile ride the other day. He brought one, and at mile 40, he was like, this is my
I guess
first
I'll
time I'm
take my
taking a
first
sip.
sip.
What
we
the
did
hell?
We did 35 miles today. And
No bottles?
No bottles.
Nah.
Any food?
Nah.
Do you chug water before?
I drink coffee. That's it. I don't know. I don't even think about it. If it's a really tough day,
It's probably better that you don't think about it.
but I like.
Like I'm sitting in a chair and I'm thirsty as hell right now.
Yeah.
So you're not getting parched. Do you tend to, not to go off on too much of a tangent, but do you tend to drink more water like when it's warmer out?
Yeah, definitely.
You
For
do.
sure. That's why the other day I only brought 1 water bottle on that like shorter ride.
It was chilly.
Yeah, because I know that I'm not going to get like dried out. I don't sweat a lot. I wonder if that's like the not to like get into my.
Yeah, like he's going to wrinkle up like a raisin.
Is that not what happens to you guys?
Sometimes. And my fingers snap off.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not going hard enough. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm sure
sweat.
that's it.
I don't think that, well, that can't be it. Like, yeah, I don't know. If it works for you, what the hell do we know, right?
All right,
But-
we don't need my my personal.
Adam,
Yes, sir.
bike and gear, please.
I was running my 2021 Giant Revolt Advance 3. That had a 46, 32, 48, 32 chain rings. It was a 2x.
Yeah.
And
That's the part I forgot.
and 11 to 36 in the rear. So I had less than 1-to-1, at least for the climbs, which is good. I was running the Rock Bros front and rear bags, like they said before. I had Evoc, little top tube, and frame pack. I forget the size of them, but it was about
Half frame bag, right?
Yeah, it was a half frame bag.
Yeah.
I have to relocate my bottles because of the frame bag, so I had like the Wolf Tooth B-Rad thing, which like lowers your water bottle on the down tube, and then I put the other one in the underneath of the bike, which works. It kind of sucks because it gets dirty. And yeah, I had my tent stuff in the front, sleeping bag in the back, and then pretty much all my clothes and snacks in the frame bag.
Yeah. Nice.
That bike's heavy. That was my biggest complaint. And I hate 2x drivetrains for gravel bikes, but we don't have to get into that.
Yeah, that wasn't it didn't end up being an issue. Right.
No,
but you were
they-
the only one with a 2x.
I had a 2x.
Oh, you did too?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Didn't end up being an issue either.
Yeah.
But
But
yes,
it's-
It's not an issue. It's just I have a big preference one way versus the other. For
Were
one
you
bike.
guys on the outer ring? Like,
I was mostly on the inner, but I did go to the outer for some of the faster sections.
Gotcha.
Like,
Yeah.
it's personal preference. I just don't think it's necessary.
I mean, it was a
Yeah.
ride for spinning, right? Like we were on
Yeah.
the bike 3 days in a row, 250 miles with a lot of climbing. Like grinding gears isn't really the best thing to do.
I find the shifting can get crummy. Like,
Yeah.
that's not something I want to be adjusting on the fly. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it worked. It worked.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. Sam, we
Yeah.
sort of spoiled the fact that you were running a 2x bike. What kind of bike was it?
no, Cannondale Cat X.
Yep. Nice.
I think it's 2020,
It's the only
2x
aluminum bike.
aluminum bike,
There you go.
carbon fork.
Yeah.
I think it's still, I don't think it's too heavy, the
Yep.
bike.
It's probably the same weight as mine. Mine's full carbon, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I love that bike. And I think it was 4630 in the front.
Yeah.
And then I know that it was a little less than 1-to-1, but I'm not sure what it was in the back. So I'm not sure. But, and then for front bag, I was at the Rock Bros bag.
Yep.
Great. Back saddle bag was the REI bag.
Yep.
Which was great. I put my tent poles in the back, which worked well. Great. Jeremy was saying that. And then all my clothes and stuff was in that frame bag. Tools.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Snacks.
Half frame bag too, right? Revelate.
Revelate,
the big one.
Super big. Barely
Yeah.
could fit my one bottle in there.
Yeah.
Which ended up getting both bottles, which was great. But yeah, that bag was big, great, fit a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that I have like the half frame bag from Revelate too, but I ride a medium frame.
Yeah.
And I swear that bag is like my bag is like 2/3 the size of yours. Yours is freaking huge.
Well, the Cat X is a 61, which is great. And I had a top tube bag as well.
Yeah, 61. I ride a 54, so it's just wild the
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
No.
My guy's tall.
Yeah, tall. I think I'm like 6'4", 6'5". So 61, and then top tube bag was REI too.
Yeah.
Yeah, great setup.
And we all
Thought it was
sort of
great.
like shared tools.
Yeah, totally.
Certain people carried tools. Certain people carried like canned air, pumps. Not canned air, CO2.
Canned air.
To clean off like the
My
microphone.
keyboards.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I loved about my setup was like the scrunchy like string things that could hold like jackets or whatever on the outside.
Yeah, you were saying that during the ride. You're like, I love these little
Dude,
things. Yeah.
so great. Could
Oh,
hold
that's
like
that's a good thing.
the
So,
little
would you say
bungees.
that's your favorite part of like your rig?
yeah. I mean, because like I packed stuff on my bike and then I was like, shoot, that's all my stuff. Like put it all in the bags. I was like, that's all I got.
It's a good
Yeah.
spot for a coat.
Yeah,
Right.
and then I was tossing like my rain jacket on the top and a couple other jackets, hat.
Yeah.
I don't know. BS. It was great. Yeah, good setup. I don't know.
Adam, do you have a favorite part of like your bike packing setup?
Honestly, I have a lot of complaints about that bike. There's a podcast on that. Personal preference stuff again, but the seat post on that is phenomenal. That is one thing I will give it. It's like a D-shaped seat post, carbon, and that
Yep.
thing has so much flex, and it is very comfortable in the chunky section.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Cervelo has a similar like seat post.
Yeah, that is really good. They did that
Yeah.
right with that bike.
Yeah, hell yeah. Jeremy, favorite part of your bike?
I don't think I have a favorite. I guess.
The bottle opener?
Oh, I haven't used that.
Yeah.
I was hoping I would get to use it on this ride.
I only used
There
mine
weren't
like
bottles.
once or twice, but you don't need it because the SPD pedals are
It's just a
literally
bottle, opener.
openers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so-
Lauf does that.
It's just such a gimmicky thing.
they put bottle openers where front derailleurs should go.
They don't do it anymore.
Oh, they're done
the
doing
new models do not have them, but
Wow.
you can add them.
Oh, really?
for
It's
an
an
extra
add-on?
charge.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh.
$40.
$100.
Yeah. I don't think you can get them anymore.
Yeah.
I was looking on their site recently.
Yeah, I was hoping to get like a glass bottle of Coke somewhere. I thought that like one of the general stores would have it.
Didn't
but
find that.
I didn't find one.
No.
But yeah, favorite part? I don't know. Probably whole bike.
Whole
Bike's
bike.
my favorite
Nice.
part.
Brian, you got a favorite part?
I don't know if I have a favorite. I would kind of say the whole. I don't know. Something about like looking at a bike when it's set up for that particular
Oh, hell yeah.
kind of thing is like just cool to me.
Same.
It's just like
Seems like you're really doing something.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling.
Yeah.
And even like people seeing you from the outside, be like they know that you're up to something. Like,
Yes,
oh,
right.
what are you guys doing? Like
Right.
this group of people with
Up
like
to something.
everything on your bike rolling
Right.
through.
Smell like crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just living on your bike.
yeah.
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 And we did it for 3 days, but like, I mean, with the amount of stuff that we had, I feel like you could sustain yourself for a good amount of time with just like that amount of gear, right?
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
Yeah.
I wish I brought a little bit extra, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I had like a particular favorite thing,
Yeah.
but if the steerer tube was higher, that would probably be my favorite thing.
yeah.
But
How are your shoulders feeling now?
they're fine.
Yeah.
Maybe like 2 days after that, I would get like a weird like I don't know, it's like a weird like click in my shoulder, but
Yeah.
it's fine now.
Damn.
Click.
I hit it with the Theragun.
Yeah. For just the full day, full recovery day afterwards.
Did anybody else weigh their bike besides
No.
me? Oh, my bike was 50. No. What did I say?
There's
37 pounds?
37?
Yes.
That sounds about right.
Mine was 40 last year, and I brought less this year.
Probably
I,
within the 35 to 40 range.
yeah.
I would guess mine was about 40.
What the hell did I bring that?
I don't know what year my bike is. It's a Salsa Warbird. Shimano GRX rear derailleur. I swapped it to an 1146 like Brian for this trip. I got a 42 tooth chain ring. Sounds weird. 42 tooth.
42.
Yeah.
42 tooth.
42 tooth. Last year it was an 1142, so an improvement there for the 1146. Saddlebag and front handlebar setup are from Salsa, the same thing that Brian has, that EXP pack. My top two bag is also Salsa, and then my half frame bag was the Revelate one I was talking about. I had 2 bottle cages. One was side loading, which I think was huge for me. The one that goes on my down tube, I use it. That's the one that like I reach for. So I use a side loading cage there, and just a regular top loading bottle cage on the seat tube. But yeah, I think it was a little bit. I definitely brought less than I brought last year, and I remember weighing my bike last year, and it was 42 pounds. So it's probably a little bit like closer to 40, maybe under. I did bring some smaller things and like less things overall. I don't know. I like my top tube bag because the way it attaches is nice. It actually attaches like with bolts.
Oh, you have the mounts on your.
Yeah, the mounts like on the top tube. So I really like that.
That's really
It-
Forgot
nice.
about that.
It's really convenient,
nice.
and like Salsa makes it so it fits that bike really well. I really like the Salsa like bike packing stuff. I have that out front mount, which like is different than some out big handlebar bags because it doesn't attach. The bag itself does not attach to your bars. There's like a cage or an extender that like brings the bag itself out
that
about
was great.
4 inches. So you can like angle it off of your front tire and like have it out there. I don't know. I like the weight out a little bit more. It's like next to my
Helps
hands.
a lot for the brifters for mechanical.
100%.
When you're
Yeah.
That was
Right.
the reason I got that one was
Yeah.
because my cable slack is so long.
Right. It just
so
would have
it
crimped
didn't
it.
kink the cables at
I had to
all.
adjust my bag in the front so I could actually clear it when I was shifting.
Same with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think next year that's the bag for me.
I agree.
sure.
I looked up the price. It's expensive, but I think it's worth it. It seems
yeah,
like it's worth it.
$200.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like you can use other different dry bags too. Like if you happen to just get like the skeleton part, like the
Yeah.
part that, so yeah, and it seems durable. It's worked for me really well 2 years in a row. So yeah. Hell yeah. What do we say? Let's go get into the ride a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So day one, right, we started from that park and ride, like we said earlier. We ended up doing 69 miles and climbed 5,500 feet. It was 6 hours of moving time, average speed of 11.4 miles per hour. Sam, I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. Like, what
Love it.
your you didn't have experience bikepacking before, correct?
No, first bikepacking trip.
What was sort of your thoughts going into this first day, and like how did it end up comparing to those thoughts?
Good question. I was going into it with a little bit of the adventure, not adventure, but like kind of that it was a little bit of like an overnight, and that we'd kind of be out there, and that it would kind of be like I don't know, not scary, but like we're going out there.
Yeah. Like really woods in it.
Yeah, really, really going for it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like two nights. So yeah, I was a little nervous, and then day one went well, and I was feeling well, which was the great part.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And I knew that I had some more in my legs for the days to come.
What time did we start? Like 10?
10:30ish in the
Yeah.
morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I was just happy that felt good day one, and knew that kind of that I was going to be feeling good for the next couple of days.
Did it end up feeling like as much of roughing it as you thought it was, or did it seem like more tame?
More tame.
Yeah.
Yeah, more tame. Yeah, especially with like first night we got set up at that brewery, which was great.
Right.
And
Yeah. Lost Nation.
Lost
Lost
Nation.
Nation Brewing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and-
because we were originally going to sleep in the woods.
Right.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
would
they
have been
hooked us
great. With the vibes were high after day one. We would have been all was good.
Yeah, it ended up being our shortest day and the day that we started the latest, right? Because like we drove up from Brian's mom's to there, so we had like a 2-hour drive.
I'd say it.
Don't even say it.
Brian's mom,
Yeah.
conveniently located. And so yeah, like so we started a little bit later. We got our packs ready, and like as I said, we were sort of like going through Burlington or like the outskirts of town, the suburbs, and then we hit some dirt roads and like these really fun single track sections along cornfields. And to me, that's like when the ride like really starts, you know,
Yeah.
like,
You like drop in next to that guardrail, this
Yeah.
like super unassuming trail that you would never know is there probably
that's
if you're
great.
just driving or walking by.
yeah, right along to the water,
Yeah.
narrow single track, but super flowy, couple of like bridges and stuff that you cross over, some rockier, rootier sections.
That was
but
like my
nothing too
favorite
intense.
gravel single track. Yeah, it was like gravel
Yeah, that
bike,
was
super
like
smooth.
heavens. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
perfect. It was
There's
perfect.
one section in Arcadia that it reminds me of, but this section in Arcadia is like maybe a half mile long, if that.
Yeah.
And there's all pine
Arcadia
trees along
wishes
the
it was
side.
Vermont.
Yeah, it does. It does. And so, right, we go in and out of this single track, and then we're on a nice, like, wide traditional gravel road, like a fire road, along the Winooski River. Jeremy, this is when you thought we were going to go under the Green Bridge, and we didn't.
No, this wasn't then, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a big green bridge, and we took a right before the green bridge, and the bridge is
Oh,
kind of
that's
near Montpelier, but
Yeah.
we took a right instead, and we're headed towards Waterbury, right?
Correct.
Which is where we stopped first at Prohibition Pig.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good. Did everyone get tacos?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hell
I
yeah.
got the taco plate.
What is that?
Whatever it was. It was like all the stuff of a taco, just not folded into a taco.
Gotcha. No
Minus the
tortilla.
bread.
Notice that.
Yeah.
I had my first positive mushroom experience.
Yeah, you generally
at that
don't
place.
care for mushrooms?
I hate mushrooms so
Yeah.
much, but it was
Yeah.
the only taco.
Pro
for-
Pig rules.
Yeah, it was great.
That was a good stop.
Great beer. You ate your tacos so fast, Sam, because I remember I was I didn't even touch mine yet, and I had got my GoPro out, and I was like, doing the thing. I'm like, oh, we're at Pro Pig, we got tacos, and I go, what did you get? And they were gone.
Damn.
He just
Still chewing. So
just-
hungry at that point.
Sam just starts laughing. I'm like, all right, well, those are gone completely.
I think I just knew that was like real food, and
Yeah.
you didn't
Yeah.
really know when the next real food was going to be. Like you knew it was dinner, but like it was probably going to be dinner. It was the next real food, and my next thing was probably going to be gummy worms or something. So like,
I think that was my favorite food day.
yeah,
For
that was a good day. Yeah,
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Stowe, that the first day, I don't know if we're getting there yet, but the first day
Yeah, go for it.
the first day is my favorite as far as beer and food goes.
Stops. Yeah.
I think that if we were it's tough. Well, no, I guess by the time you get to Stowe, everything's open. But if we were to ever do it again, I think starting even earlier on the first day would be better. And then like taking your time through Stowe
yeah.
to like
That's a cool town.
kind of check everything out
Stowe's the best.
So Stowe was where we ended up stopping.
at Ranch Camp.
At Ranch Camp,
Yeah.
right? And we went to a general
That
store
place is
there.
sick.
There's a
Yeah.
sick bike path, like a really nice bike path.
Like
and stuff.
spending more time maybe at Von Trapp and then like
Oh,
make,
okay.
make your way down to the center of town and like kind of
Right.
check everything out. I think that would be the only thing I would change time wise. Just make it more of like a longer day because there is so much to do in that one little area.
Yeah, there's even that other brewery, right, that we skip at the bottom of the
Alchemist.
Alchemist, yeah.
Yeah, which
It's a tough skip, but
Yeah, Alchemist
Yeah.
is great.
We didn't even stop at Von Trapp, right? We just like took in the view pretty
Yeah.
quickly, and then like made our way towards where's Lost Nation? Oh, Morrisville.
Morrisville, yeah.
Morrisville.
Town,
Morristown.
Morrisville, something
Yeah.
like that.
Which one was Lost Nation?
where we slept.
That's where we slept.
Oh, right.
That place
And,
is sick.
What
Fire
was the
and
other
everything.
place that we went to?
Ranch Camp.
Ranch Camp was where we got burritos. Well, I got a
Oh,
burrito.
I'm
That was
thinking of
the
the
bike
second
shop,
day. I'm thinking
yeah.
of Mount
Yeah.
Pelia the second day.
Yeah. But yeah, Stowe's really neat. I agree. Spending more time there like would be a little bit more fun, I think.
Yeah, I love Stowe so much.
It just like was, I mean, we were not necessarily rushed out of there, but you know, like you're
It
trying to
felt
get
a
in
little
and out of
rushed at that
places.
point. Yeah, because we were trying to get to Lost Nation before they closed. and
right.
Get set up.
And we
stuff.
did.
But we did, yeah, with like an hour to spare.
Yeah.
So
Right. We ended up like we got drinks. We sat around the fire.
Got to charge some stuff.
I walked.
Charge stuff.
I went in, asked if originally Meg and I were there a couple weekends beforehand, and I had scoped out the area to sleep, which would have been in the woods. But I asked the very nice bartender if we could sleep kind of where John and I did last year, which was like directly behind the brewery on some grass and under a little pavilion thing, and they let us. So
Yeah, it was great.
thanks, Lost Nation.
Yeah, thank you, Lost Nation. There's a bigger footprint this year, right? Last year was only 2 of us. This year, 5 of us. But
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't take up that much more room.
No.
And I mean, we were like, we're setting up after they were closed, and then we were out of there early. But they were very nice to let us charge our stuff there and camp out back and not give us any
I mean, at
problems.
least for you and me, not having to set my tent up on the grass and having a dry tent set
Yeah.
up on concrete.
would've
That's-
been
And the gas fire pit was nice.
that was sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a great spot if, for some reason, it's raining
Mm-hmm.
and somebody's doing that route because they have that pavilion. And
Yeah.
you just like
For sure.
stay real dry.
So I mean,
underneath there.
we didn't really mention it, but it was cold. It was cold.
Oh, it's
Very
going to get
cold out.
it's going to get colder.
I think
Yeah.
we were getting there. Yeah.
gonna
We're
get
getting
colder.
there, yeah.
So yeah, like it's decent. It's decent out this day though. I didn't feel too cold. Like I wasn't
night.
wearing my leg warmers.
No, this was
Yeah,
the only
we
day
were
I
in
wore
shorts
shorts.
and
Yeah.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
Right. This is the only day like riding we wore shorts. We got to Lost Nation and like they had a great fire. Remember we're all sitting around it. We had our shoes off. Remember that lady came up? She was like, "Oh, shoes off." We're like, "Lady."
I missed that.
Yeah.
She was only there for like 2 minutes. She was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna like warm up like while someone starts the car or something." And then she was like, "Oh, it smells good," and then left. Get out of here, lady.
Wow.
I don't think I saw that. Maybe I did. I don't remember.
Damn, I'm calling you out. Where were we?
Lady.
That's Morrisville.
Well, we
So
kind of
some lady in
skipped over
Morrisville.
like we were originally talking about the single track and then
Yep.
got off on a tangent there, but
Yeah, no, that's good, right? So we single track to traditional gravel. That's when we hit Waterbury. We went to Pro Pig. I got that donut at a bar across the street. Wild. Donuts being served in a bar. It was just like an old colonial bar.
What was the rating on that one?
That was a
donut.
good donut. That was like a 7 or an 8. That was like
the
a
donut tour begins.
yeah. The donut tour has begun. It was a bougie donut, but it was good. Right then we head up towards Stowe. There's a long climb up to Von Trapp where we took in the sights, and then there was that wild mountain bike track, the
So
downhill.
sick.
Super wild.
And like it's pretty technical. Like I mean, technical for me at least. I don't ever ride a mountain bike, and I'm riding a 40-pound bike, and I get scared of trails anyway.
I mean, it was technical, and the thing, you have so much weight. Your handling's so different.
Oh, it's so
the
different.
saddlebags throwing you off in corners. The,
Yeah.
the steering with the handlebar bag.
Trying
Yeah.
to do the switchbacks on that bike was
yeah, like
Yeah.
little short switchbacks, like coming down the
Berms
mountain
and stuff.
Yeah, it was sick. It was sick. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
That's
and then
probably my favorite.
That was super
That
fun.
whole day, that whole section from like climbing Von Trapp to
Yep.
descending that mountain bike trail
yeah,
Super
is
fun.
so sick.
yeah. it
Day
a lot
one
of
was
fun.
pretty great in general. Pretty seamless.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then that's what took us to Stowe, right? A little bit of bike path. Then we stop at Ranch Camp.
That
That was
place
good. What did everyone
was-
get there for food? Right, because it's a
Burrito,
food, beer, and bike shop.
mountain bike,
Mountain bike
mostly mountain bike,
Yeah.
bike shop.
But like full on. That was crazy. You could just buy a Rafa jacket. You could buy.
Yeah,
a
it's
suit,
a
you
whole
could buy a
Rafa
freaking
room.
helmet.
Full
Yeah.
on Rafa.
Yeah,
I was trying to talk Adam into buying a jacket.
Spoiler: I bought one when I got home.
wow, nice.
Could have bought it on the trip.
I saved money.
Yeah, I got a burrito. Adam, what'd you get?
I got a salad.
Hell yeah, Adam was kind of rocking salads. Can respect that. Jeremy, what'd you get at Ranch Camp? Do you remember?
I got a bean burrito.
Nice,
with some
bean
French
boy.
fries. Yeah,
Nice,
Bean
yeah.
boy.
Brian,
I got a burrito as well. I don't
Yeah.
remember what kind of meat it was, but
Burrito.
Hell
Forget
yeah.
the meat.
they had Wait, you forget the meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had good hot sauces there too.
Oh, they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The what was it? The Cholula habanero. You don't
Yeah.
see that too often.
What did I get to drink there? Oh, I got a Fiddlehead IPA.
Nice.
Yep.
I think I get the same. Yeah.
Are they their own brewery or no?
They
just-
are. We were supposed to go there on the last day, but we'll get there.
Oh, Fiddlehead is their own brewery. I'm sorry. I meant is
Oh,
Ranch
Camp is not a brewery.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So yeah, then we go across the street to the general store. This is
The butchery.
Yep, the butchery, and it's decent general store, grocery. No singular donuts, but did get a bag of donuts. Who found the bag of donuts? Adam. Yeah,
I'll take credit for that one.
yeah. It was a bag of 6 donuts. Everyone ate one. I ate 2. They were okay. They were
Little
really
wet.
moist on the outside and like dry on the inside. But whatever.
It's like if you dipped a donut in water and then
Yes.
just put it in a bag.
Yes. Yeah. But I did get like a good like CBD seltzer and like I think like some caffeinated drink for the next morning. Did anyone else remember what they got, Sam? at that
Yes,
store?
and not to get into my thorn of the trip.
Yeah,
my,
please. You
my
got-
bad part of the trip, but
Yeah.
it was definitely night one after those 2 stops because I got the burrito, ate it too fast, like Brian was saying I did with the tacos, and
This
then
is a pattern.
it's definitely a pattern. And then got to the general store, had some random snack, forget what it was. Then you gave me a donut,
Yeah.
and I slammed that.
Was it
Damn.
the cookie?
Donut put you over the edge.
I think it was
You
a
got
cookie.
chocolate
Yeah, it was.
cookie,
It was.
'cause I
a
remember I got the same cookie.
Yep, it was a cookie, and then it was the donut that you gave me. Slammed it, and
Wow.
then we
I'm
had
getting blamed. Am I getting blamed here?
no.
Okay, thanks.
I didn't have to eat it.
He's an
and then I think we had 15 miles to Lost Nation. To
Yeah, that sounds about right.
15, 20 maybe to Lost Nation, and that whole 15, my stomach was just knotted up the whole time, and I was just hurting.
And it's not a fast 15 miles. Not that I feel like we went like slow or anything, because I felt like the pace was decent for the whole ride. But it's not like, normally I think most of us, for the majority, ride our bikes on the road. So like an 18 mile per hour average is like pretty standard.
well,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think right after Ranch Camp we jumped into a Paved section.
It was immediately up a dirt climb. Classic.
was.
Every single stop, there was immediately
Yeah.
a climb.
Yeah.
Right after.
I remember the heart rate getting right up.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so
Am I using the term Pave correct?
Oh, so Pave
too
is
crappy
like,
road.
Is
The
that
next
just
day.
it's just fucked up?
just
road.
fucked up road. Yeah.
Does that work if it's not a race? Can you say that?
You could say Pave
a
if it's not a
road.
race, but it's a road. It's specifically in Vermont.
It's fucked up
It's like a
road.
class 4 road that is like not maintained.
Okay. Yeah.
So some of the roads that we were on were definitely that. But
yeah, I'd agree with that.
the most
Same.
fucked up one was on day 2, and we'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
But that was the most fucked up road section. But yeah, day 1, like where we end up at Lost Nation, we camp there. We sort of went over our highlights for the day. Let's jump forward and talk about waking up the next morning. What
Spoiler
time?
alert. Cold.
Now it's much colder the next morning. We say we're going to get up at like 5:30 or 6 or something, and I think we're going to hit the road by 7. And there's a Dunkin' Donuts a mile away. These are all plans that we have the night before, right? And I remember being like one of the first ones out of my tent. Maybe Adam, you too. Adam
Yeah.
starts packing up, and Brian gets out of his tent, and he immediately is like, "I emailed a couple of churches."
Brian already did his
And an
taxes for the
elementary
year. He was
school.
Yeah, and an elementary school. Brian, what's going through your head at this moment? And tell us what you did.
Well, I slept like shit because it was freezing. And that is one thing I completely underestimated this year, was because last year was so warm.
Yeah, it was almost 20 degrees colder this year. It was
Yeah.
like 40 degrees that night.
I didn't buy a new sleeping bag. I didn't buy a new tent. I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to use what I have. Bad idea. The first night I think got close to freezing. I want to say
Close-ish. At 38 or 40
30.
degrees. It was cold.
I know at one point it was in the 30s.
Yeah.
And I was in a 50-degree sleeping bag from Amazon in my tent.
No insulation
My
from the
tent
ground.
also from
It's like Jeff
Amazon.
Bezos was giving you a hug all
Yeah. I had no pillow. I was using my helmet.
Yeah, that
sucks. I tried to use my down jacket as a pillow, but it got so cold I had to put it back on.
I considered doing. I mean, I wish I thought of the helmet trick, honestly.
All I wanted
Call it too much.
to do at that point was raise my head up because my neck hurt so bad. I didn't care about how comfortable it was.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 a.m. and I was just thinking about how much colder it was going to be the next night, and I was like, this isn't fucking happening. So I just was like remembering videos of like either Lale Wilcox or like Lachlan Morton. They were always sleeping in like post offices or churches.
Yeah.
So I just Googled Waitsfield, and 2 churches and an elementary school popped up.
Did you email an elementary school?
No.
Oh, because that's so fucking funny.
I emailed 2 churches. I don't remember
it's a
what
school
one
day.
was, but the other one was Waitsfield United Church of Christ.
Yes.
So emailed them at like 4 a.m.
Oh, so before we were even up, you were
Oh
already.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
awake, just
Yeah.
like I was laying in my tent, just like what the hell can I do?
Yeah.
So yeah, sent those emails out, and then
Yeah, you
That was
announced
when-
it to all of us.
that was when I woke up,
And I was
Yeah.
like, damn, this is like, it's going to be 8 degrees colder essentially the next night. It says it's going to be 30 or 32
it was a
degrees.
frost warning.
It was a frost warning.
Yeah.
And,
Hypothermia is real.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And like setting up camp and breaking down camp.
my God.
But like you mentioned it and I was like, hell yeah, that's a great idea. But I wasn't necessarily like, I don't know, counting my chickens before they hatch,
Yep.
right? Like
Yeah.
I was like still very much prepared to camp that night. And I think kind of all of us were.
Yeah.
Right? Brian, did you have maybe the most hopes because you were the one that actually reached out, or you were just like a shot in the dark?
It was just whatever happened at that point.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, no. So we start our day. We go to that Dunkin'. We chill there for about a half hour. You know, use their facilities, eat sandwiches. I ate a blueberry donut. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually,
I
pretty
love
good.
the blueberry donut from Dunkin' Donuts.
That's a good donut.
It's a solid donut.
Yeah, it's a solid.
I got a chocolate sprinkle. The
Um,
OG.
Did anyone get sandwiches or anything?
Yeah,
I
I
got
I
got
think I got a
bacon, egg, and
turkey
cheese.
sausage, egg and cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maple bacon on a croissant.
Wow. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
I don't know.
You don't remember?
Probably egg and cheese on a croissant.
Sam was
Nice.
doing as much damage to himself as he could.
Yeah, that was
Did
that's
not
a good
youngest.
point.
Did
He's
not
like,
learn his
you know what?
lesson.
I'm just gonna put it all down. Calories are calories.
Yeah, it's a good point. That was the morning after my
Yeah.
horrific downfall. So yeah, no, it was.
And
it
you
was
woke
great,
up
though.
and you started the day with maple bacon on a croissant.
Yeah, and a black coffee, baby. Let's go.
Always
yeah.
black coffee.
Yeah.
1-2 punch to your stomach.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Dunkin' Donuts, like, people can shit on them all they want, but at the end of the day, it's just sustenance. They don't try to be anything.
No, they're
more
not trying to be anything they aren't. Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah.
and it works. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've eaten so many breakfast sandwiches from Dunkin' Donuts before rides, and I always feel great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't get a sandwich. I just got a donut, which was foolish.
really?
I was really hungry by the time we hit that first general store.
Huh.
Yeah, I
got
just
a
wasn't
sandwich
thinking.
and a donut.
Yeah, I should have gotten a sandwich.
When was that? That first general store was the one that was on the bridge, right? That was like 24 miles in or something, right?
On the bridge, like with the water that ran underneath it?
You
Yeah,
worried
so
about
that,
the motorcyclists.
Oh yeah.
yeah, with
Yeah.
the motorcyclists.
Hardwick.
Yeah. So immediately so we go to the Dunkin' and we immediately start climbing. This day ends up being 91 miles and 9,000 feet of elevation. We're on the bikes.
10,000 if you're Jeremy's head unit.
Wow, hell yeah,
I
nice.
calibrated mine before I started. I go off mine, and mine's brand new. Yours is like a year.
I just
old.
used
wow.
Strava data.
I wasn't even like defending mine, and he still was like, "Yours is like a year old." I'm fine with that. I would have upped it to 10,000. Give me another 1,000 feet. Yeah.
We'll call it 10.
We average 11.2 miles per hour this day, and we're on the bikes moving for 8 hours and 12 minutes. Long day on the bike. But Brian talks about day one being like maybe his favorite in terms of food stops. To me, day two stands out as like the most picturesque
Oh, for sure.
Vermont
100%.
day.
Yeah.
And also the hardest.
and the hardest
Pretty
day.
objectively the hardest, I
Yes.
think, of all 3 days.
Yes. The Queen stage, if you will. No. This is not a race. You cannot call it that.
There is one thing that I don't know how we could make it work, but missing Hill Farmstead
Yes.
sucks because it happened twice in a row. It's just like where we end. There's really nowhere. I mean, maybe you could camp somewhere around there. I wonder if Hill Farmstead would let you camp on their property.
They have so much land.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
That climb.
this is going out to all the beer connoisseurs out there. If you do plan on doing it, you will miss Hill Farmstead the next morning.
Right. If you do it at the same sort of time frame that we
Unless you leave
did it.
later.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, we pass Hill Farmstead as we're going towards Hardwick, which
Yes.
is like the first real town that we hit. But just before Hardwick, about 5 or 10 miles, is the general store that we stopped at. To me, it's like the best general store
What's the name of that? Wiley's?
ever. Yeah, Wiley's. It's got a huge full grocery store in the back.
Yeah, that place was great.
It was amazing. And we met these guys on motorcycles that were out there. And wow.
Characters.
Met the straightest guy in the world.
Yeah. You You couldn't put me on my bike for 90 miles at the gym if you put 5 girls in spandex in front of me. Or he said something like that to his buddies, like not even to us. But yeah, they were great. They were a lot of fun to talk to. Oh, that's where I got maple drops. I have maple drops on the table.
Oh my! That's where you got them?
Damn, can I get one of those?
Yeah, I have 5 left.
Oh
Maple
my God.
Sakis.
Yeah. So this is where I bought them at the general store. Here, Adam, you can pass them around.
I had one of
And
these day at work.
Take
too.
one, pass it around.
Basically, they're maple syrup hard candies for those of you just listening.
yeah, they're great. And I, tis
you.
the season of me carrying maple syrup with me on the bike, and this was a great thing to have instead of that. So I really enjoy it. Wow, we're all crinkling. That's
good.
good.
That's fucking laugh.
ASMR.
Bags of chips.
But yeah, so the Hill Farmstead thing was a bummer. That place looks really cool. We stopped there for a second so Brian and Adam could drink their tears instead of.
Although I was there 2 weekends before that, so I wasn't
I
as
haven't
sad.
been there in like 3 years, so that was sad.
That-
Supposedly one of the best breweries in the world.
So let me ask you,
Still trying to get my maple
Why?
candy out of the thing. It's stuck
Adam,
to the wrapper.
why is Hill Farmstead
Yeah, ask Adam.
regarded as one of the best breweries in the world? What do they do? And I'm saying this as totally a beer noob. I know very little about beer. I don't really have a taste for beer. I haven't drinking in over 2 years. But why? What does Hill Farmstead do that other places don't do?
I mean,
Can you define it?
I think it's a time and a place thing too. There's something about they've been around for a while, but aside from that, they do everything perfectly.
Gotcha.
Every style. They're very good wild ales and in kind of mixed fermentation stuff, which is harder to master, but they do everything. They're maybe a little more traditional. It's not juicy, hazy, stupidly named New England IPAs. It's very more pure and reserved, but it's just done to perfection.
Yeah,
So
that,
it's not
that
as
stuff's
simple-
trash anyways. Get the hazy shit out here.
It's not as simple as beer good, right? It's there's actually there's good science
Yeah,
behind
Sean
it.
Hill's
and care.
considered one of the most prominent brewers probably in the world. I would
Gotcha.
think. Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Seriously, was a question that I asked Jeremy and Sam as we were riding up towards it. I was like, what makes this place what it is? Or what makes any brewery I mean, obviously the difference between microbrews and macro brews, I understand that, but are they putting that much care into it? Is it just where they are, how they grow their hops?
The
Is it
location
across
has
the board.
a lot to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the location is everything. They could brew in a trash can, and if it tastes like that, I would drink it.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
Their location
That
is
property
to
is
die
nuts.
for.
Oh,
it's incredible.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. And super secluded.
And you can't get it anywhere else. They don't distribute.
So you can only get it there.
Well, you can get some kegs somewhere because
Well,
we have that.
if you're drinking in the area, yeah, but you can't go buy
I can't go find it in the liquor
can
store here.
or
No.
a bottle.
I
of
could
it.
go find Hetty Topper down the street.
How
I
do you
can't
guys know
find it.
about it then?
Right, I see that
It's like Fight
Alchemist.
Club. Can't tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That's
Interesting.
yeah. I mean, the Alchemist. That's I feel like that's kind of what happens though. Is the Alchemist started distributing, and then people don't care as much anymore.
Yeah.
Or how Treehouse is now more accessible and
Yep.
stuff like that. Kind of tends
Yeah.
to you lose that sort of
The allure,
exclusiveness. Which I don't know.
No, but I mean, it's
But-
true. But it's not necessarily the taste is becoming watered down, but it's just because it's less sought after. It's less special.
I don't know. There's something where there's two types of beer people. I feel like there's the people who are into it and maybe a little bit more purist in the craft and everything, and there's the mass market culture.
Oh, beer good.
Juicy
Yeah.
New England IPAs. Let's get the juiciest, hoppiest, haziest beer, and then you've got the ones that's this dude knows what he's doing,
Yeah.
and he doesn't need to be a try to follow a trend or a craze. He does what he does, and it's phenomenal.
Interesting.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a guy that wears overalls.
He probably does, and you know what? He was probably wearing them before you were born.
That's cool. So just past Hill Farmstead is the general store. That's where I got these maple drops. Adam, how much did you get Smarties for?
10 cents a roll.
What
5
the
cents a
hell?
roll.
5 cents a roll.
Five
You got
cents.
They're not
Smarties?
making
I didn't
any
even
money
see the
off
Smarties.
Yeah, 5 cents a roll.
He ate them as fast as Sam ate those tacos.
Four, 30 seconds. Four rolls.
They were seriously, right? Because we were we ended up sitting on the grass, in the little town center across the street. And I think by the time Adam walked across the street, he had eaten all of those Smarties.
So
Wow.
hot chocolate was $1.50. I spent $3 and got
That was a hot chocolate.
Yeah.
I got coffee.
I thought you got a coffee.
No, hot chocolate.
What did I get there? Oh, I got that raspberry tart.
Oh, I got those too. I got more donuts here. They were okay.
Connie's Kitchen.
Connie's Kitchen, which is that place that made the worst sandwich in the world that I had last year. I don't want to speak for you, Brian, if you had the worst sandwich you've ever had.
I thought it was okay. I just thought it just tasted like a sandwich that
it was really
I
the
would have
soft white
made
bread was so bad.
in my kitchen. Roast beef, white bread, mayonnaise.
Yeah, see, I got turkey, and the turkey was slimy. You know, that happens with deli turkey.
meat. Yeah.
So we like, right, we do all this climbing, get to the general store, and then we kind of like bomb down a hill to get to Hardwick. And I don't know about you guys, but like I was kind of in like a weird funk at this point. We still didn't know what we were doing for sleeping. I think, Brian, maybe you had tried to call the church at this point or something, but maybe there was some phone tag or some email tag that was happening, but nothing was solid yet. And we stopped at a cafe that like didn't have real food, and I didn't even get food. Like I was like, where are we going to eat? Then like we went to a diner. We didn't get the diner. There was Chinese food. Didn't get that. To me, I was like,
We just
what
ate
the
at a
fuck is
grocery
going on?
store, right?
At
We ended
that
up
point,
going
we
to a
were just
grocery
like
store.
standing there on the side of the road. I was
Yeah.
like, I had no opinion on anything.
Yeah, I was in such like a weird daze at that point.
Yeah. You were gone. Jeremy was gone.
Jeremy went to
Walgreens
Walgreens.
to get nose strips.
Yeah.
No explanation.
Yeah, we ended up at some
At a little grocery store.
market.
Yeah.
And I got
Buffalo something or other was a market.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
I got vegetable spring rolls and some wrap,
Yeah. Same.
and I kind of came back to life after that.
Same.
I got like an American chop suey that was like a heat up type.
And you
thing.
heated it up in the microwave
Yeah,
there,
it
right?
was really good. It was,
Yeah.
it was, I mean,
They just had a microwave. You could
Yeah.
heat it
Yeah, it
up.
was in the back.
I didn't get anything from there, but I got a coffee and a babka from the cafe, and I thought it was the best thing that I ate that whole trip.
Damn. Should have gotten some babka. What the hell?
I was chilling at that.
yeah, I was. I don't know. I was just like wanted hot
I was on the
food.
phone with some guy with this dude Frank.
Oh yeah,
That's what it was.
This was at a point we were maybe we were gonna like split a room in Waitsfield.
Yeah, a
5 bikes,
hotel.
5 guys, and 2
room.
bunk beds.
Yeah, they had bunk
a,
beds.
a hostel, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah, I had called this guy Frank.
And Frank wasn't even at the hostel.
No.
He wasn't there. He
was helping other bike
helping
packers.
other bike packers. Apparently, said he was in Woodstock, which was like not close at all to where we were, like several hours away. Which is near where my mom lives. She lives in Vermont.
What the hell?
He's killing him.
And yeah, so we would have had to pay for that room. So that was an option, though. I think I was feeling a little better at that point because we had.
Yeah.
There was a backup. There was a bailout. If church
There was a
didn't come
bailout that was more money than we wanted to spend, but
right.
Had you have heard from the church at this point?
no.
You didn't hear anything.
No.
You didn't
I
even
called
get an
It wasn't until we were in the middle of
I
fucked
called
up
the-
road.
Yeah. I called the church outside of that
Really?
cafe and
Yeah.
left a message. This was a different church. This was not the one that eventually.
Right. Spoiler alert, but we slept in a church. It was fucking sick.
Champing.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Frank.
Yeah, Frank, nothing. No, Frank was like, at one point, Brian, like, he didn't say these words, but pretty much it sounded like Brian was like, you're not going to rent the room out to anyone. We'll give you like fucking $50. Just like, let us sleep there. We're not going to do anything.
Just bullying
It
them.
did-
Yeah.
It wasn't even, but it was almost like, come on, dude. Like,
He's
just meet
show
me
up, It'll be
somewhere.
available. No one's gonna take it.
Yeah. And so,
Just help me.
but so right, we have some plans, and then we leave this town, Hardwick, which really is like no offense to Hardwick, but it's like a 4-road town. Like these 4 roads meet in the middle.
Yeah.
There's a general store, a grocery store, a cafe, a diner, some Chinese food, like a place to get a shit sandwich, and like a handful of other places, like a Walgreens and a nice little picturesque waterfall. And then, but basically we're out. We get some food, make it nowhere with Frank, and then we climb up maybe the hardest section of the ride, this Class 4 road, Buffalo Mountain Road.
Of that day.
Yeah, of that day. And calling it a road is fucked. Like,
Yeah.
this is not a road.
It's several roads actually. That whole section, if you look at the segments.
It changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that also where Gnarlsburg is?
Gnarlsburg.
Are we talking about the section where you fell in a
Yeah.
puddle?
That's,
Yeah.
okay.
But like the hill that led into it to start. Because
Yeah.
we did the
Oh,
first
okay,
section,
yeah,
we came
yeah.
to a dirt road, then we
that
dropped
hill,
into
is-
that
that
section.
hill is
Yeah.
gnarly.
For some reason,
It
I
changes
thought
a bunch, and it ends up becoming another mountain road, like when we descend it.
Right,
but it was
right,
just
right.
like super gnarly, rocky, rooty, technical, wet. There
Wet.
ends up being like
Very wet.
Yeah.
dirt bikers on it, and like 3 different like 4x4
4x4
trucks, and
Yeah, like 4 runners.
yeah,
I mean, I
right.
would guess that we did between that stretch and the next one, 4 miles in 2 hours or
Well,
something
Buffalo-
like that.
Yeah.
That
Oh, it was
was
wild. Yeah.
So is that on bikepacking.com, that road?
Yeah.
That is, but apparently a lot of people skip it.
Okay.
They skip that section and they go around it
Because I remember thinking
Glad we
like
didn't
I
skip that.
I
Me
not
too.
like
Fun.
all right.
You
Yeah, I
gotta do
remember
it.
thinking that
It's
like I
sick.
can't believe it's on the website. Like I can't believe they just like advise people that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Buffalo Mountain climb is 1 mile with an 11.3% grade, and this is rocky, chunky ass
yeah.
shit. This
Like
is
all
not
big rocks
just a
that cover the
climb.
whole.
If I was going
Fucked
the
up
other way, I
road.
want my mountain bike
Yeah.
to go
Yeah.
down it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Fucked up
about
road.
a 600-foot vertical gain.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough, and it was slippery, and like
Yeah, it's just one of those things that stats don't do it justice.
No.
Like numbers don't do how, especially in your bike's
Did it
40
4
pounds.
minutes faster this year.
No.
hell yeah. It's great. It's a challenge. Coming down the other side is almost just as hard. The heavy bikes are like another thing to like think about when you're descending this like rocky. So there were a couple sections where like it's just like 3 or 4 foot drop off.
Oh,
Shit
yeah.
is wild.
Oh yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
If you go the wrong way, you got to turn around or
Yeah, right.
commit to it.
Yeah.
But that's around the time that both my bags were dragging.
right, because it's at the bottom of this is when Brian helped you repack
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was
And then Narlsburg,
Yeah,
which is
Narlsburg.
the same kind of section, is just about 6 miles. And for context, that took an hour and 2 minutes.
stop in
Yeah.
Narlsburg?
Huh?
Do we stop in Narlsburg?
It's just the segment name.
Oh.
We stopped at the convenience store like right after we kind of came down a couple roads, and there was one
Yes.
on the right where that lady was there that we had like on a bike or something.
Yeah.
right.
That is
That's right.
that is just 6 miles of absolute garbage trail.
Yeah, it was called Mapleville General Store or something. It was Maple something.
That was a great general store. I
The
thought
o-
that's where you got the maple candy.
Oh no.
The only other people we saw on that were like 3 dirt bikers and 4 off-roading guys
Yep.
in like 4
Yeah.
runners and shit
Yep.
like that.
I had fallen in a puddle.
Good thing you had
Twice.
your life alert.
Huh?
Good thing you had your life alert.
Yeah. I managed to kind of catch my bike, and the bike didn't go fully in it, but I definitely did.
Soaked your jacket.
Soaked my jacket, and then Adam and I were kind of up ahead, trucking up this hill. Oh, no, you were behind me. And then I slipped, my front tire slipped on a big rock, and I fell off to my right, which is not my dominant unclip side. So,
Yeah.
which is interesting because I'm a righty, but I unclip in my left.
Same.
Same.
It's goofy.
So
Just some goofy
You get
guys.
caught
Yeah.
off guard with that, and you
I
just
got
don't know
caught
what
off
to
guard,
do.
and
Yeah, right.
my whole weight of my body and my bike went down on a rock onto my shin, which is still bruised. And it's actually on camera. I swear a lot, and then just kind of let out a big moan because I was so frustrated.
As you fell.
After I fell because
Yeah.
I hit my shin so fucking hard.
Yeah.
So I just laid there for a couple minutes, and that was when I think you two
Yeah.
were behind me, and then
Yep.
yeah, that was fun.
And I mean, on sections like that, I was totally swallowing my pride too, and just unclipping really early, and not always riding the sketchy parts.
Yo, same.
Yeah.
That's the section that I did the most amount of walking.
I'm super stubborn on trails like that because
Yeah.
I want to say that I rode it or just like try
Yeah.
to try and ride it.
There was
Yeah.
one time I was behind you. I think you tried 6 or 7 times before you were like, "Fuck!" And like you actually like got off. Like you took your leg over the
Yeah.
top
I
tube,
mean,
and you were
you're
like,
on like
"God."
a fucking 10% grade trying to clip
Yeah.
back in with no way
Right.
to
Yeah.
gain momentum. With
There was
these
one point. It was
rocks.
like a river. It was like a stream too. It was like
Yeah,
a river
you were going
bed.
up a small riverbed.
Yeah, I was yelling into my camera going up that. I'm like,
Yeah.
we're going up a fucking stream right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm streaming on my bike.
Streaming.
Yeah, real life streaming.
Real life streaming.
Yeah.
It'd be so much more fun doing that road without the extra weight
Yep.
on it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it would be so different. There were times like
Or
I
a
would just
mountain
be,
bike.
I would be walking my
that
bike around a
it'd
puddle,
feel
and
real heavy.
and it would like fall because like the front wheel would turn a little bit, and then the weight of the back would just like fall
Pull it
and-
over.
and it's just like, oh fuck! Now I'm like. 1 foot next to mud, and let me just pick this bike up, and then I'm gonna bring it up onto this ledge so like I don't. And it's just like, I mean, fun and challenging. I mean, that's the right. We use the word fun a lot. It is very much like type 2 fun. A lot of the things that we do, but to me, this is like the height of type 2 fun. Like you're really punishing yourself in a rewarding way, and to do it with like 4 friends that have the same idea about it is like wild to me, right? Because there's some people that are like, you're fucking out of your mind for doing this.
Yeah, if
and
you're
like the
gonna-
5 of us decided to do it together.
If you're gonna get muddy, that's the section.
Yeah.
Probably the whole 3 days. That's the mud that's still on my bike as we speak.
That is the most technical section of the entire ride.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, a really scenic day, a really rewarding day. We end up like going to that general store, and then we climb a little bit more, and then we're into Montpelier, and we stop at Three Penny Tap Room.
Yep.
There was that sick descent into Montpelier. We skipped a section of single track, ended up staying on like a paved road.
I'm still curious about that single track because we skipped it last year too.
No, we went on that single track. It was the single track after Montpelier that we skipped. The one before.
Oh, yeah. We did do that
Because by this
year.
point, you'd already talked to the guy, and he was like, be there by 8 or 8:15.
We stopped to take pictures.
Oh, yes.
At that corner of those roads, and it was
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that happened. You got a call back.
Got an email back
You had
from
an
the
email
church.
back, and we had no service
I've
on
been
Buffalo
in and out of
Mountain Road.
service all day.
Yeah.
Mark, his name is Mark.
Yeah, I think
His
so.
name is Mark.
Yeah.
Emailed me back and was like, "We have a place to stay. There is a birthday party. We're doing like a birthday party from 6 to 8 p.m. If you can get here before by 8:15, you guys can stay here for the night." So now it was like kind of crunch time. We had to.
It was about 5:45, 5:30, 5:45.
Yeah.
Right, and we knew we were going to stop to get dinner.
Yeah. So
And we
yeah,
had, what,
I had
20
called
miles?
Mark. You guys were taking photos, and I called Mark, and he answered, and we talked. Very nice guy. So yeah, that was kind of what he said. He's like, "We have a place for you. There's a shower."
Oh my god, hearing that.
Yeah.
I
Couldn't
just
believe it.
I just
But wait,
pictured
there's
like
more.
the Marriott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was basically like, "Yeah, there's a place you can stay. There's a shower. There's heat. There's plenty of room for 5 of you. Just get."
And we
here."
didn't care. Like, at that point, we were like, sick. Like, heated inside, that's it. That's all we
as
really
long as
need.
it was
I didn't
warmer
need a
than
shower.
outside, that
Yeah.
didn't even matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
So yeah, now we had to get to Montpelier and eat
Right.
dinner.
Right. So we descend, we go to Three Penny Tap Room, which is bomb.
Jeremy lost his jacket on
I got a
descent.
burger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that descent. Yeah, that thing was sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was so cool.
It was
Your
awesome
jacket
picking
went
up
flying.
your stuff. Yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
One of
fixed-
several items.
I made it up to you, remember?
Yes. You did.
Yeah, I got a burger.
Yeah, I
from
got
Three
a
Penny
I got
Tap.
a
farmer salad
Tater
and the best
tots.
tots.
And we got Hill Farmstead.
Yeah, we did. Jeremy's full water.
Oh my god,
I just spilled an entire
spilled water.
cup of water.
Jeremy
all over the
pulled
floor.
a super bad.
How did you do that? There was so much water on the floor.
Somebody better clean this up.
The lady sitting at the bar.
The floor's all wet.
She was like, "What is that?" She saw
But she said that, and then a worker saw it, like the bartender saw it, and they're like, "Oh shit," and left it.
Yeah, it never got
Didn't
cleaned
wipe
up.
it out.
Dude, I
What?
almost ate crap on the
it was
bathroom
pretty
floor walking there.
slippery.
A cleat. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, Adam
You
told me
had-
it was
you had
slippery at
cleats
one
on,
point.
right?
For context, there was a water fill station, and Jeremy decided to drop his entire cup of water onto the
I was
floor.
filling my water, and it had like a little lever that you had to press with the cup,
Yeah,
and I just like
most fountains do. It's kind of a
It's hard to
standard.
explain, but whatever. I'm just pressing my cup up against it, and it
Yeah.
has a lot of like spring tension in that. So I'm
The
just
cups
like,
weren't really strong enough for the lever.
threw it back.
yeah, I put it down right in front of the fill station, and the lever was still going right. And then once it was done, it kicked the cup.
That sucks.
It poured all over my shoes, all over the ground.
No one will ever be able to understand the panic in that lady's voice. I don't know what she thought it was until she.
What is that?
It's just water.
Relax.
So yeah, good meal there. Three Penny Tap Room. Montpelier's like interesting little city, you know, like very historic and like neat looking and really small. You heard the fact about it earlier. Least populous state capital. Yeah.
Bernie Sanders.
Didn't see Bernie again. Fucking
Didn't see him
disappointing.
sitting in a chair with a jacket on.
Yeah, and mittens.
So how many more miles away? Immediately into a hill climb. When we
Immediately into a climb, legitimately
massive
called Hill
climb.
Street, and it's fucking huge climb.
Hill Street is never in your favor. Whenever you see Hill, next turn is Hill Street.
Yeah,
It's
or
never-
anything hill. Yeah.
It's never downhill
I don't
street.
remember this road.
It was really steep.
It was right
road
before we saw
at-
the greatest sunset I've ever seen in my life.
No.
Was that was before we descended descended
It was the
into.
one that you played Jack and Diane on. That one.
Yes.
Okay, I remember now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How,
it was a
how
lot
many
of
more miles
climbing.
was it when we left there to our final stop at Waitsfield? It was like 30 or something?
30, I think.
Yeah. 20 something.
Yeah, so everyone was kind of I think it was at that point where no one was
gotta
really
get it
saying
done.
anything. We were just riding, so I decided to put some John Mellencamp on.
John Cougar Mellencamp.
Yep.
Sorry, and
I don't know what he was.
He doesn't
at
want to
that
be
point.
called Cougar anymore.
yeah, it's just
Fine.
John Mellencamp.
Yeah, it's just John.
Yeah, I put on Jack and Diane.
Just to lighten them.
And it was
a little
great.
Bit.
So we just climbed a hill listening to "Sucking on a Chili Dog."
Yeah.
Sucking on it, they know.
That descent after that sunset was great, though.
On the
Yeah,
dirt
that's
road.
yeah.
That
Yep.
sunset was like top 3.
Huge
sunsets
gravel
in my
descent,
life.
which was cool to do it kind of in the daylight this year because we
Yeah.
did it in the pitch dark last
Yeah,
year.
last year, pitch black, terrifying, and this was one of my favorite sections of road in the whole.
Yeah.
Like
It was like headlamps just kind of needed,
Yep.
like a little bit, that type of
sunset was
Yeah.
still like peeking
Yeah.
over. You would get like it was
like purple. It was
decently
crazy.
overgrown, but you'd get all of a sudden you'd be able to like see like the
Yeah.
ridges and stuff with the sunset, the sun hitting it. and,
It was getting chilly at this point.
It was cold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's getting cold, and so we go down and we get to Moortown. And we stop at the general store. We talked to a few people at the general store.
Yeah, everyone was super nice
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
There was that dude that had just done the Appalachian, what was it? The app race or whatever.
Yeah.
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 Him
And
and,
then that
his
dude in the
girlfriend or
truck.
wife,
the
whatever.
guy in the truck.
Yeah, the guy in the truck.
It's like, you guys are fucking crazy.
I'll drive you down there if you want to get in the back.
We have like what 6 miles left to get to Waitsfield, and
Yeah.
This is the only point in the ride we rode in like the dark leaving here that I
Yeah.
would say. Like we were full lights, you needed lights.
It was
to be
very
on this-
dark.
Yeah.
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 yeah, it was dark. But the
Drop ride.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
became a drop ride at that point.
Yeah. It was fast.
Yeah, it got fast. I
The-
wasn't hammered on. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead.
left me in the dark. I was taking
Oh,
side
geez.
roads. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going the right way.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was really determined to get to where we were going, even though we ended up being early.
So we
And
got
it
there
was
what,
foolish.
7:30. We got that convenience store that had what was that? It was like
Yo.
maple the
Yeah, maple flavored jerky.
Yeah, it was
right?
like the maple hickory. Or there was something
Yeah.
else. There was
Oh, yeah, it
two-
was second.
It was
Yeah,
so good.
The
Yeah,
beef
it was-
jerky.
Yeah, the maple one.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know if it was because I was so excited to sleep in this church or just like see what this church situation was, but like I was pretty stoked at that little.
I ate
general
buffalo
store.
mac and cheese, and I got some.
potato
We
salad.
have
Adam and I had
double fill,
Fiddlehead
right?
double IPA.
I'm pretty sure I was
and-
buzzed after that. Pretty good.
Yeah, the
did I
vibe at that general store was great.
Yeah, there was
so
this.
directly across the street from the church was
Guy wearing a
some
SpongeBob t-shirt.
general store that was selling sandwiches and beer, and it was literally directly across the street from the church, so it couldn't have been any more perfect.
Right. So even though we just stopped at a general store 6 miles up the road and got food, I mean, I got food there.
I got Chex Mix.
Yeah.
But I got that food with the intention on eating it later that night in the church.
Right.
Then we got real food at this general.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
remember what
forward.
I got
just
some
got-
sort of
I
sandwich.
just got
I think.
potato salad.
Yeah.
And that beer and a CBD seltzer, which I saved for the church later that night.
Oh yeah, that was
Hell yeah.
great. That really made me sleep real well.
So we probably chilled there for what, half hour, maybe
Yeah.
not even.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for the signal to go
Mark-
into our haven.
So I'm texting Mark at this point, and he texts us to come in. So we go back there and go into the church, and
Well, first we like stand out back for a few, and it's kind of like he's like, just come in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I don't know, like I didn't know what to expect at first. Like I grew up going to like Catholic church, and I sort of know like what those people are all about, and I don't necessarily love them all the time. And so I was a little bit like hesitant to go. Like I don't know, these people couldn't have been more the opposite.
Oh
They
my
were
God, so nice.
so welcoming.
So great.
I remember, I think Adam and I walked in first. You three were like right behind us, but they shook our hands immediately. They were just wrapping up an anti-racist meeting where they were also celebrating one of the members' birthdays. There was like, what, 7 or 8 people down there? Pretty small
Probably,
group.
Yeah.
They had cupcakes.
They
And
left everything that they didn't eat for us.
Cupcakes, oranges.
oranges, apple cider.
John chugged it.
I chugged this little bit of apple cider. But then, like, I ended up talking to this one guy who ended up walking around the full church.
Me, Jeremy, and Adam.
Oh, getting the whole tour.
Mark
yeah.
gave us
Yeah.
a tour.
He like offered. He said
We
that
could
he
have slept
could.
in a pew.
Yeah, he's like, we
He's
can
like,
turn the heat on
sanctuary's
up here. and
You
sit."
got carpet. You got the pews. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think we'll just sleep.
Yeah, like
downstairs.
that was the front half.
It was
of the
like
church.
a 25 by 25 function room, I'd say, 30 by 30 that we stayed in. Like it was a good size.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what a lot of people might know as a church basement, but to me, this is like selling this space short. It's a, like you said, it's
Full
like
kitchen.
a banquet area with a
Yeah.
full kitchen,
Which a
and-
lot of churches I feel like have, but no
Yeah.
one really sees them because
Like wicked clean bathrooms too.
They
Yeah,
had a
bathroom
Keurig in the
upstairs.
back.
Yep.
Keurig in the back with like all coffee choices.
Little kids playroom.
3-bay sink.
They had big coat rack. This was like one of the best parts. You get to just hang up all
Yeah,
your
we hung
wet,
up our
sweaty,
stuff. Hung all our wet
shitty
clothes.
Yeah.
clothes.
We all took showers upstairs.
Oh my god, that shower, top 10 showers of my life. And this
Sit
place
down shower.
it had like a little ledge. You put the.
Yeah.
It wasn't like glamorous at all,
No.
but just like being
It's the moment. The
being like-
moment when you
and-
thought you were going to sleep in literally 28-degree
Yeah.
weather and you're
Oh
in
my
a
God.
warm shower instead.
I used the Suave body wash to like wash my
That
hair.
was provided by the church.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had towels. They had everything.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
talking to everybody, and then didn't the guy that you were talking to
Yeah.
explain?
So he's like, he starts talking to me about working at like this prominent bike shop in Manhattan in the 80s and truing wheels. And he's talking to me about like how much he loved to like true wheels. And then he diverges into this conversation about going to like NYU film school and then being like a professional photographer. But I'm really summing up this like maybe 10 to 15 minute long conversation
talked
that
for
like
a while.
Yeah,
it wasn't like it wasn't boring by any means. It was very nice, and the guy was like, just like, you know, I really like hone in, and it's like I can separate my vision, and when I'm truing a wheel, I'm like I'm using my left eye to look at the left side, and my right eye to look at the right side, and like he was like just like a very interesting guy. And then as soon as he was done talking, he was like, "Okay, have a nice night." And then he left, and it was like it never like lingered more than it should, and it was just like,
Which is funny. Like, what's the chances of that?
yeah,
Yeah.
this guy like,
That might have
working-
played into how welcoming they were of us. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we walked in and they were like, "The cyclists!" Yeah. And it was like, holy
They let us
shit.
bring our bikes inside
Yep.
anywhere. They
They
didn't give
demanded. They were like,
Yeah.
"Nope, bring
I'm
them
like,
in."
Our bikes
Yeah.
are muddy and shit
Yeah.
at this point. And
was-
they're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
One of the like older women that was there. I was rolling my bike across. Or I didn't even roll it. I think I carried it just to be nice because my
Yeah.
wheels were just like destroyed. And I leaned it against a wall. And one of the women come up to me and she's like, "Is your bike okay?" And I thought she meant like, "Is it okay there?" Because it's like really dirty. And I was like, I promise it's not going to get anything dirty. She's like, "Oh, we're not worried about that."
Yeah.
It's just like, do you want to clean it off or something? I was like, "Nah, it's fine. I'm do it when I get home."
Don't think there was anything they could have done more for us. Like
No.
honestly, that was like the best experience I could have had.
They were so
Period.
welcoming.
Yeah.
They showed Brian how to use the heat, right? They're like,
Crank that.
They told us to change it to whatever we wanted to
Yeah.
if we were cold.
it
Yeah.
was so.
You put it up
was
too
so
high.
It got too hot.
Spoiler
It got too
alert.
hot.
You
I
put
got
it
up
too
in the
hot.
middle of the night and turned it off.
It was. I was hot going to sleep
Yeah.
for sure. But it was great. I mean, it really was a great experience.
That was
and
a game changing.
we ate a bunch of cupcakes, and we didn't have to. Not only did we not need to use our tents, right? None of us like foolishly set up our tents inside of the church. Would have been funny. But
True champion.
we didn't have to set up camp in the cold or break down camp in the cold. Like
Breaking down the morning is the worst thing for me.
we got to leave the back door of the church at like 35 degrees the next morning, like all bundled up and like ready to clip in and go, right?
All
And it
stuff
wasn't like
charged and everything.
yeah, fully charged. Like I slept next to an outlet. Adam had an outlet in the middle of the floor he slept next to. This guy loves a floor outlet.
you know, that's my passion.
That's my passion.
But yeah, it was great, and they call it champing, which is a term. Even though I had heard of church camping before, I'd never heard it called champing, and it took me until like being at the church for an hour and a half and going like, "Oh, champing, church camping." It like it was a light bulb over my head, bulb over my head.
It was a good enough experience that when I looked at, maybe spoiler alert, I don't know, the VTXL route, I was bummed to see that it didn't go by that church because I would have 100% wanted to stay there again.
Yeah,
They would have
Sure,
let
there's
us.
some
too.
other churches.
Yeah. None will be that good.
No.
no, but
I'm laying on a couch, eating a bag of Chex Mix, drinking a CBD seltzer in a church.
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious.
it ruled. I mean, it really
Jeremy
ruled.
drank a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slept in a recliner.
Yeah, it was so nice. So thank you to the United
Thanks,
Church
Mark.
of Christ.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. They were awesome. In Waitsfield, right? That's Waitsfield.
Yeah.
Waitsfield.
Yeah. So like I said, we wake up, and the next day is our last day. We start from the church. We ride just a few miles to get breakfast.
How cold was it, John?
1 mile.
It was like 35 degrees.
I thought it was freezing.
Everything was frosted over. So
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it
It
was.
was like
yeah.
32, 35.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I bet it got down really
Yeah.
cold
Yeah.
overnight.
I think 28 was like the.
Yeah. We left at like 7, right?
Yeah.
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 Three Mountain Cafe
Right.
was our first.
Great
is great.
stop.
Yeah.
It was a
Pre-made
good one.
breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Do you remember what you got, Sam?
Bacon, egg, and cheese on an everything bagel.
How's your stomach feeling at this point?
Great.
Normal?
Normal. Yeah, somehow feeling like $1 million at this point.
I love this bounce back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a true comeback. Feeling great. I think I may have had a pastry then too. A lot of coffee on the trip, and definitely had one here.
Yeah, we didn't stop at Shaw's this year. We just went to the cafe.
Yeah.
But we didn't really need to stop at Shaw's because we did the general store late last night, the night before, and then was nice.
Yeah,
to
we
like,
filled
be in
up
the
all our
church.
water bottles in the church because they had a bubbler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great. So last day of the ride, right? We have 87 miles and 7,600 feet of climbing ahead of us. We end up spending another 7 hours and 20 minutes on the bike this day, a 12 mile per hour average. Well, most of us. Spoiler alert. Adam. Breakfast place, right? This is definitely the coldest morning yet. Adam, we're going to talk about it.
I don't want it.
So how being the coldest morning yet, I know I personally dressed very differently this day. And I think we all put on our winter jackets
Yeah, I
to
had all
start
my
the
stuff
ride.
on.
Down
Right.
jacket, right?
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
And even though we're going to do a shit ton of climbing and get to Lincoln Gap about 9 or 11 miles into the ride, we still we're super bundled up. And this was the most bundled I started the ride. I ended up taking off my down jacket before Lincoln Gap, but
Good play. Good play.
That.
Yep.
I did the same as
I
John.
don't know how the fuck I made it up Lincoln Gap with my down jacket on.
that's
I
wild.
did too.
Were you overheating?
It was
Yeah,
warm.
I was unzipped.
I could see
Sweat was rolling down my face.
Sweat was rolling down my face. I did not have a down jacket on.
I could see the heat radiating off my body. That's how
I just had tunnel vision. I'm like, I can't stop.
No.
I'm gonna have to walk. If I
You
stop,
can't
I am
stop.
walking the rest of the way.
You can't
Yeah.
stop, right? So
Bottom
there's
was graded.
right. So there's a couple of climbs leading up to it. That's when I take my jacket off. Then we're on a little bit of a flat section. We go downhill a little bit, and then we get into the bottom of the climb, which starts dirt. They're grading the bottom of this road, and it was oh fuck. Hopefully they're not doing this too long, and they weren't. What was a half mile?
Yeah.
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 And it wasn't on the steep
Right.
parts.
It was on the flatter section.
I said this in my video, but it felt like I was on my way to high school to get my ass kicked
Yeah.
by a high school bully.
Once you cross that the covered bridge, that's when you know it's game on.
It's like it's coming.
Yeah,
I know
it's
it's coming.
So, this Lincoln Gap goes in two directions. We went from Warren, Vermont to Lincoln Gap, and to Lincoln, Vermont, and it's just south of Little Abe, which I know nothing about this mountain, but that's the mountain that we passed through is Mount Abe.
Yeah. We did it east to west.
Yeah, we did it east to west, right. The highest paved road in Vermont, according to PJAM, it's 4.1 miles, 1,440 feet gained. Average grade of 6.6%. The last mile is the second steepest in Vermont at 15.5%. Apparently, Burke Mountain Road is 15.8%. So, but it's very rural, not too many cars, not even a great view, but
No view at all.
wild climb. The steepest quarter mile, 17.7%. For a quarter mile.
I felt
think
it.
Yep.
it was compared to last year. It was nice having a closed road last year, but it was better this year not having leaves all over it.
Right.
I think 3 or 4 cars maybe passed us in the beginning.
Right. And they gave us a good amount of room. They weren't
Yeah.
too pushy or anything. Generally, not too many pushy drivers. No. I rode my bike 50 miles today, and I think 3 people yelled at me, and I yelled at one of them.
Yeah.
So that's 3 hours, but 3 days. I don't think we had any close calls.
Just we only had that one asshole in Burlington coming back 4 miles from the finish.
Oh, the one that you and I rolled up next to him.
He yelled at us for going through a stop
Rolling
sign.
through a stop sign.
There was that guy on day 2 that ran his car into a ditch and then hobbled.
I thought that's what he was.
And that's what I thought he was going to say too. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, we got.
I got a video of that.
I got video of that
Yeah.
shit too.
Was that after? Oh,
That
no,
was
yeah,
Von Trapp. That was on the way to
second
Von
day.
Trapp or after.
I suspect that his wheel fell off because his car's on an angle.
Yeah. It's
And he's-
down in the ditch.
Why else would he be
was
trudging
in a
down the hill?
His car was in a ditch, which is why it was on an angle.
It didn't look like it was that far in the ditch, though.
Yeah, it was off to the side.
Yeah, it looked like it was off the side and the ground itself was rubbing up against the undercarriage of his car.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
We'll
know.
never know.
And he was running away, but with one leg
He
that
could
was
still be running.
straight.
Some say he's still right.
People still in the car,
Yep.
and he's hobbling down the
Fleeing
road,
the scene.
fleeing
Forwards.
the scene,
Not
forwards.
backwards to grab something.
Yeah.
Forward.
Yeah, like
That's the
away,
weirdest
like in
part.
the direction the car was going.
Yeah.
We just blow by him.
Yeah, he passed us pretty aggressively too.
Yeah.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if he
Definitely was
uh,
not
karma.
right in his head.
Instant karma. You hear that, everybody?
So
Don't be an asshole to cyclists.
But yeah, 3 cars going up Lincoln Gap, like you said. The road was closed for us last year, but was covered in wet leaves.
Yeah,
and was
so
definitely
not
easier to
ideal.
climb this year.
yes,
Yeah.
easier in the sense of I had better gearing and
You can stand up without sliding out.
I didn't stand up once.
I
You're
tried to
lucky.
stand up twice, and I was like, no.
I literally
I
had
stood
to
up
on
in the
my bike.
beginning
Yeah.
Yeah.
before it really kicked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had it in my biggest gear
Yeah.
or in my lowest
Spin,
gear.
spin.
And just
Yeah. I don't have a cadence meter. It wasn't enough for me. Like I probably would have been doing 50 if I wasn't standing.
yeah, I would
Like,
barely say it was spinning,
Yeah.
even with what I had.
I think I
Oh
was,
yeah, I didn't have a cadence meter either, but yeah, it wasn't. It still was like grinding, but at your easiest gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm trying to see if I can pull up the segment to see if it like shows an average cadence.
Yeah.
I bet you my cadence was like 30.
It's steep.
Grinding up.
It is
Yeah.
steep.
it's steep. It doesn't really switch back that much.
Nope.
So you're just
Like
going
2.
up the side of the mountain.
Two like not even
Barely a
they're-
switchback.
Yeah, it's like you just get around a corner a little
The
bit.
flat section at the top, like the last section, is 13%.
And that feels good.
And it feels like you're like, yes. Like in my head, I like was like, yeah, let's freaking go, dude.
Yeah.
We're like 0.1 miles left, and
Yeah.
it's 13.
You were smiling
13%.
coming around that corner.
Yeah.
Like
I
you even
was-
threw up like you were like, let's go.
Yeah, I was fucking
yeah.
ready because my head unit was like 17.7, 18%, 19%.
Yeah.
You're like, motherfucker.
It just
and then it said 13, and I was like, oh,
that catch-up
13.
section,
Yeah.
as some people refer to it.
Yeah, it was
That-
fucking
I
catch-up.
kept hitting my downshift, like hoping that there
Yeah,
was another
praying.
gear.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, do I?
Yeah,
That
you got one
section-
more.
Just one more, please.
That section where it hits like the 19 to 25 or whatever it is,
Yeah.
is my average cadence is like around 55 RPMs.
yeah, that's like
Wow.
trying hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, with like 300 watts,
Yeah.
300 plus watts.
Curious now.
All to be rewarded with no view at the top.
Nope,
just the
no view.
satisfaction of doing it.
A sign, just a
sign.
sign that
Yeah.
says 20% grade on it. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is a sick sign, but there's no view.
No.
John got rewarded with a flat tire.
19
Yeah, I got
minutes.
rewarded with a flat on the descent. Sucked.
Yep.
Big old stick right like where the sidewall meets the what's not the sidewall of the tire, the tread, I guess.
Yep.
Basically right where the sidewall meets the tread, a friggin' stick went into my and I was super flustered, and
That was a gnarly descent too.
it was an early descent, and it would have been a lot more fun if I didn't fucking freak out. But and then like I tried to fix it, and I ended up trying to fix it 2 or 3 times. Like just pumping it up and shoving dirt in the hole, hoping
Yeah.
that it would seal.
I
Not
was
fun.
so I descended. I was the first one at the bottom. I took that left, and I was waiting there,
Yeah.
and it was like quite a while. And then you two showed up. You guys were gone, so I think Jeremy tried to call you.
Yep.
And then we come back onto the main road, see Adam. Adam filled us in on what happened, and then that was when I
Started
was
going back
riding
up.
when
Yes.
you were coming down.
Yes.
I was ready to risk it all. I was gonna climb up the other side. I'm like, well, I have plugs. That's all I had.
Yeah.
And I knew you didn't have plugs. I don't think.
John,
So I did have plugs, which sucks because I didn't think I did. But when I unpacked my bike, I
my
realized I
God.
did have plugs.
fuck.
Yeah. So even another bad on me.
1 out of 10 frustration level. What were you at?
Oh my
right
God,
there?
fucking 20. I was fucked. And like, so another thing that I regret about the trip is, and this is a weird thing to regret, but like I had to work the next day. So I had this like thought in my head of
You gotta
like
finish.
what the optimal timing is going to be to get back to the parking lot and then drive 5 hours south. And that pressure,
You're starting
was-
to feel it.
I was really starting to
Yeah.
feel it. And so like the first time it was like, whatever. Like when I got the flat, I was like, fine, I'll fix the flat. And then I ride a little bit more, and then you call me, and the people in the car come up, and
was
they're
so
like,
confused.
they're like, your buddy says just fix it, and I literally was like on the phone, and I like looked at the car, and like one of the few times in my life I held back a fuck you. I literally was almost going to be like, fuck you, but I was like,
Yeah, I was
okay, whatever.
That was what happened when because you had him on speakerphone, and I was like, who is he talking to?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you hung up, and I'm like,
So I'm
In
like,
the back,
I'm
the
pretty sure
backstory
Adam
from my
isn't
spot.
there.
Yeah, no, I rolled down.
Oh.
So we talked. We were like, you need a plug. I was like, okay, Brian's got plugs. I want to find him. I couldn't find him. I was like, I don't want to climb 1,000 feet
Yeah.
back. So I found the car and I was like, can you tell him to, hey, if you have a tube, because I knew you did, put a tube in it.
Yeah.
Because I can't find Brian.
Oh,
And
but
then
it
they
was just
roll up and it
the
was like
worst
this
game of
little telephone.
telephone.
Yeah,
The worst
kicker-
game of telephone
Yeah.
ever.
The kicker is you did not have a pump.
Yeah.
Just fix it.
No, I had a pump.
Okay.
I didn't
yeah,
have
you
a
had the Crank
mul-
Brothers.
I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have a
You didn't have a
multi-tool
to take your
my
wheel
through
off
axle out.
because
Yeah.
we were sharing tools.
So in retrospect, will I carry a multi-tool next time? Yeah, just because
We would
that
have either
weight.
needed
They're
to all
small
stay
enough.
together
Yeah.
all the time, or yeah.
They're small enough to. It's probably good.
Yo, honestly,
Yeah,
the
for
best
sure.
thing ever. I'm a Specialized voice or whatever, but the Specialized Z cage, it's a side loading one, and it has that little screw mount on the bottom where you can just get their little multi tool. I have it on my mountain bike, and it's
yeah.
just on the bottom, so I never even think about it. I
Yeah,
always just
that's
have it
so
on my
nice.
bike.
I just
Yep.
had loose Allen keys in my top tube
Yeah,
bag.
even if I took a couple of Allen
Yeah.
keys, especially for my through axle, right,
Got
it would have been smarter.
Maxwell House of like bolts.
Yeah. So yeah, like try to. It's like slowly leaking. I'm shoving dirt into it. We're making it like a mile, and I'm like, it's fucking spongy as hell. I swapped the tube. Sam gives me a tube first. It like pinches the sidewall or something. I don't know what really happened there, but it would not hold air. And then who gave me the second tube? Jeremy.
I did, yeah.
And that one holds, and we're okay. We end up getting, well, we're okay. I'm still flustered as fuck, but at this point, I'm looking back at my tire, and it's looking the same. Whereas like the first 2 or 3 times, it was not looking the same. We stopped at that gas station in Lincoln. This is where we met that dog, or the
Awesome
two
dog.
dogs.
Millie.
But Millie, the dog, Millie, like,
A
Mildred.
total ham for the camera.
I
she's
love
from
Millie.
Israel
Yeah.
and was rescued by her owner. It was amazing.
It wasn't Israel. It was India.
Oh, it was India?
Was it India?
Oh,
I wrote down Israel, but I don't
didn't
trust
hear any of
myself.
that. I was sitting on the ground eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dog was.
The dog was super nice.
Yeah.
They both just chilled
got to-
outside of the
We
general
have to
store.
talk about all the great dogs we saw.
Saw a
Like
lot
that
of-
dog at
lot
the
of
top
dogs.
of the hill.
Right
the
before Hill
golden-
Farmstead.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
golden retriever.
Yep. Great dog.
Excellent dog.
Got video of the dog. There's going to be a video too.
I got a good video
Yeah.
of Millie too.
Millie was great. I ended up getting a chocolate glazed donut here. It was solid. Jeremy pointed it out. It was decent.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right before that, was that when that like really really cool descent was?
You
Where I
dropped
dropped
your
my water
bottle?
bottle again.
Yes, 100%.
I think I just shut. Is my mic on still?
It's on now, yeah.
Okay.
But it definitely went off for a second.
My bad. I'm gonna stop touching this.
Cameras.
It's okay.
The camera's not recording anymore either.
Ah, fuck.
Sorry, everyone.
Where did we miss?
I mean, whatever.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
We'll make an
the
animation.
descent. I dropped my bottle, dropped my chain,
Yep.
and then I fixed myself up and I
Dropped
met
your
you guys.
chain?
Yeah, I dropped it. Well, I like fixed it by backpedaling a few times because it got like wrapped around my crank. And I was like, this doesn't feel right because there's like so much resistance. I was like, maybe if I push it harder.
Jesus.
And then I looked down, it's all twisted around my
Oh.
crank, and I was like, I'm
Damn.
backpedal a little bit. And it just like jumped back on. Then I met you guys at the bottom.
Yeah. General store was fun. But this, all of a sudden, we're like, and so we go to the general store, right? We start going a little bit. There's like along the river. There's a little bit of like single track and stuff. And I mean, here we go. Adam's rolling his eyes. I think this is when.
This is the first time I was like, something's not
Adam's
feeling
demise.
well
Right.
with my knee. It was at that general store. I was like, my knee is like feeling a little.
Were you telling us at this point, or were you keeping it to yourself?
I think Sam might have seen me like stretch it out at the bottom of that descent. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a little whatever, but I didn't say anything.
Do you
Like,
think Lincoln
audibly.
Gap had something to do with it?
Maybe, I don't know. I think it was everything.
When
even
was the
before.
first time you felt it?
That it was right around. It was
At the bottom of that descent?
It was at the bottom of that descent.
Interesting.
Where I started. Yeah.
Huh.
So the whole descent, like when I was freaking out about the flat, you seemed your
I was
knee was
fine.
okay.
Yeah, I was feeling.
Yeah.
I was feeling fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what you're about to say is when we hit that spot where it's like freshly regraded road, it was like riding on beach sand for like
Yes.
2 miles.
Yes.
And you put down way too much power to
shit
go
sucked,
way
and they
too
were-
slow.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And they
That-
We're like
grading
into the
it, too.
headwind. It was a terrible section.
That
It's
was where I
nice
started
looking.
to like
Yeah.
feel it
Yeah.
good.
'Cause
Yeah.
just a few miles later is when you said, "Hey, can we stop up here? I just want to stretch my knee out."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mile
And
was
that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
I mean,
That must-
not really the end.
That
No,
must have
also
been like
think-
mile 25-ish, right?
No,
Maybe no more.
I think it was 25 because I don't want to spoil the story. Yeah, I think it was like 25 because that general store was like
it was 25 or 30, somewhere around there,
Yeah.
I think.
We ended up doing 87 that day. And Adam, not to jump ahead too much, but how many miles did you end up doing that day?
68 or
68.
something? Yeah.
So, right, we Otter Creek is closed that day. That's a place Brian and I went to last year. We ended up not going. You asked to sit on the side. You asked to just like, hey, let's take a second so I can stretch out my knee.
Yeah.
Then we hit this other like cool single track
That
flowy
was
section
fun.
that Brian and I skipped last year, which was a
Yeah, that
lot
was
of fun.
cool.
Had some nice little climbs in it too.
Yeah.
Ended up like adding more elevation this year, as compared to last year, which was
Yeah, that
nice.
was really fun.
And then you're sort of hurting a little bit more, right? But we keep pushing on. Like,
yeah, it was just like kind of slowly
Right.
mounting.
we end up
Anyway.
going through, what is the town that the Grand Fondo started in? Bristol,
Bristol,
Vermont.
That had that like Montana looking view out in the back. Of
Yeah,
it. That
just
was
past
crazy.
that was like it looks like we're in the west, like looking up at the Rockies, but it was just looking at the Green Mountains. It was like elevated farmland. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna say, up until this point, up until that stop, I think leaving every stop, like the vibes had been so good. Like leaving every grocery store, we had been like refueled, up on water, life's good, vibes up. And then after that stop, we went right into that sand section.
Yeah.
That was tough.
And that was kind of just like soul crushing after
was a
that
drag.
stop.
Yeah.
But that was like the first time that it was bad after a stop. I don't know.
Yeah, no, interesting. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think you're right. Because it totally like sucked the end.
Not
the good,
bad, but like I don't know.
The good energy out of us that Millie gave us at the general store.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of hope that because we were gonna go to Fiddlehead and the pizza place. That
Yeah.
was like our last stop.
Right.
But at that point, we had stopped so many times for like the flat and
Right.
everything.
Fiddlehead was closed, weren't they?
No. We were
Oh, it was
just,
Otter
it
Creek
was like,
that was
oh, it's
closed.
getting too late at this point. So we were just trying to get back
Yeah.
as fast as we could.
Yeah. That to me is like the biggest regret, I guess. And like I don't know how much different it would have been. I guess we probably lost 45 minutes at least because of the flat. But like
I would think so. Between like all of the series of
Yeah.
them, yeah, probably.
But
40.
like, would 45 minutes have like eased my let's get back to the parking lot so I can like get back in my car and drive home? I don't know. It probably wouldn't have put me in that like negative headspace like as quickly as it did having
Yeah.
gotten the flats. But we would ride through Bristol, and then there's a point where I don't know if you're like at this point, are you like scheming like on your phone, like looking for shorter routes and stuff?
I was thinking about it in my head, and
Yeah.
I mean that's saying something is like I don't know. I pride myself on toughing out and stuff, and
Yeah.
it was getting unbelievably painful. It was like I've never been stabbed, but I imagine that's what it feels like repeatedly every pedal stroke.
Yeah.
It was just a sharp pain on the inside of my knee.
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over.
Right.
Because I don't know, probably from the time where I first made mention of it to when that was, it's like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Oh,
of just
sure.
riding on it, and it was
Yeah.
just getting worse and worse. So.
Right.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
convinced you were going to tough it out.
I thought I was going to tough it out, and then when we stopped there, I was like, I need a bailout plan. Like, I can't make it, or like it would have taken me so long. It would have those like, if I needed to do it and my life depended on it, I would have made it. But I'm like, this is actually stupid. I'm hurting myself right now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right. So you find a more direct route, and even that was a bit too much.
yeah.
Right?
I found a more, I found a more direct route.
I mean, there's
like,
no shame in it, right?
No,
I mean,
no.
it sucks like that it happened.
No, you got to
but-
swallow your pride for sure
Yeah,
on
it's-
that. But I was like, I found a route, and I was like, okay, it's going to shave 10 miles and like 700 feet of climbing. So I was like, okay, 800 feet, 20 miles, I can do that.
Yeah.
I made it about 5 miles from you guys where I got onto a flat dirt road, and I was literally pedaling with my right leg out, just
Yeah.
only one leg in the clip pedaling. Had to go up this massive hill, unfortunately. There was about 700 feet of climbing left in it, and apparently 200 was in this one single hill that I had to do.
Yeah.
It was bad, and I stopped in a town. I don't even know what the town was.
Oh,
And
man.
I got in the general store, and I got out, and I was like, I can't get. I tried to get back on my bike, and it just hurt so bad that I called an Uber.
Called an Uber. And
Called
they brought
an
you
Uber.
back to the park.
I called my mom. I gave you guys the location via Google Maps.
Yep.
I told Sarah, and I told my mom. I was like, this is the path I'm taking. Here's this. This is my plan. In case like you didn't see that I was in my car,
Yeah.
you would know where to come find me.
Right,
Like,
right.
For reference for people that need to do the same thing, how did you explain the bike situation to the Uber driver? You didn't just leave your bike at this general store.
No, I called her, and there was a little bit of like a language barrier and stuff. She didn't quite understand what I was asking, but as soon as I made the reservation, because I just got a regular Uber and I saw it was like a Hyundai Santa Fe, I'm like, yeah, a bike can fit in this. So I immediately called her on the phone, and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know that like I have a bike. Is it okay? And she was kind of like, yeah, we'll try. And I was like, okay. So I'm just gambling on the fact that she can fit the bike in
Yeah.
there. So she showed up, and she was cool. I put the seats down.
She didn't
tried
care how dirty your bike was.
I was very diligent to like pick it up and like place it down and not just like run it across the back of the seat. And she was cool. She bailed. I told her like a bunch of times. I'm like, yeah, I told her to explain the whole thing that we just pretty much said.
told her this
You're
whole story on the
bailing
ride
me
back
out.
to
Yeah.
Burlington.
How long of a drive was it?
25 minutes or
Okay.
something like that. It
Decent.
was 10 miles.
You talking the whole time?
first 10 minutes, and I was just too burnt out, and I was in pain because I had to. Since then, driving is hurt because the angle I have to keep my knee at when I'm driving. So I was like, when I was in the car, I'm like, this is gonna freaking kill when I get out of it. And it did. It did. It hurt. Yeah.
Damn.
But that Uber bailed, man. I'm lucky I had service there because it sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get back to your car and you drive home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit deflated, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, 100% deflated.
And so like we all sort of experienced the same, not to like skip over the end of the ride, right? But there's 20 miles or so left for the four of us. There's a couple of like fun sections. We go through Burlington at the end. We take a picture at the lake. I don't want to, which is like nice.
Yeah.
But like we're all sort of like pushing to get to the parking lot at that point, right? And so we finish the ride, and we all we end up going our separate ways. But like Adam, what was your feeling of going from like the high of this to like, oh shit, I'm injured. I'm getting in an Uber like with this stranger, and now I have to drive home 5 hours.
Dude,
like,
it sucks, especially with the 5-hour drive at the end of it. Like knowing that I had to sit in the car, my knee is already jacked up. But yeah, it sucks. I mean, because we did the Tortorodi, we did the 200-mile ride. I'm just like riding this wicked high. I'm at the peak of like everything I've done physically.
Yeah,
we did do a lot in a short
and I think that's
amount of time.
What it came from. And and it sucks to now
we
like
did that 200-mile ride a week before that.
And then Tortorodi like 4 days before that, which was like a pretty hard ride.
Yeah.
And then it sucks. And now I've ridden 2 miles in the past week, and it hurt.
You're on the mend, but you're still hurt.
Yeah.
No, I guess we'll wait until we're done with the ride for. Never mind.
So that was the end of mine. It was a little deflating. You got to swallow your pride, but honestly, like, I made the right decision. I'm proud of the decision I made because I'm someone who can be really stubborn. And I would have just fought through it, and I think I made the right decision for like my long-term recovery of that. I'm glad it didn't happen a day 2 or somewhere with no service. Like, I'm lucky that I only rode 10 miles from the time where I left you guys. Before I just
if it
bailed
was
out.
like the middle of the trip,
that would have sucked. That would have
been
sucked.
an issue.
Yeah,
it would have been so different.
Uber was only $30. Actually, it wasn't really
yeah.
that bad. Like, I was surprised.
Yeah.
I wonder what it would have been if you had to ride back from
Those surge
Waitsfield.
rates out there.
Oh, it would have been so bad. That would have been like $80-$90 easy.
That'd be a cheap price to pay, though.
I would have. I mean, there was when we were not remote enough that I had to do it for survival. I took
There wouldn't have been any Ubers anywhere.
No.
It's like Burlington was the only city, the
Yeah,
only like
and look,
populated,
I was in proximity.
maybe Montpelier.
You'd be asking Mark for a ride.
Yeah.
Frank.
Maybe Frank. Yeah.
Frank's in Woodstock.
Yeah.
No, but it was a relatively shitty end to a good trip. Like, I still had fun. And like that's just a small footnote on the rest of it, because recalling it now, I'm like, yeah, this is a great trip. But it sucks. I know I physically could have done it, lungs wise, muscular wise. I felt good. My knee is just blown out. So, yeah.
Physical pain.
Physical torturous
Terrible pain. Yeah. So we have 20 miles left here at this point, and we're sort of getting back into Burlington. Any sort of things that we want to talk about before we get back to the parking lot? There's the drive-by fruiting. You grabbed an apple.
Oh my God, that was
Brian.
the best apple I've ever had in my entire
Sam, did you
life.
grab an apple?
I grabbed an apple. I think all I wanted to say the last whatever miles was I don't think we had a stop for the last
No, we didn't.
last while.
My ass.
That was some of the most depleted I've been at the end of that ride.
Yeah, I
That
didn't
was-
finish with much water left.
Yeah,
Same.
Exactly. I think
My
last
ass was
maybe
ruined by that point.
I'm just a guy that drinks water a ton, so I think scary last 2 hours maybe I didn't have water, hour and a half,
Yeah.
which is just a lot for me.
We
I
didn't
guess.
pass anything.
Yeah.
We didn't pass any stores until 2 miles left, and at that point it was like
I had a full
There was a
bottle.
Walgreens, but
we
I
had
think
a full
we were,
bottle. Unbelievable.
I think we were
got the
just
Gave Sam
apple.
a squirt.
yeah, we were just all systems going, getting back to the car at that
Yeah.
point. Like as soon as we lost Adam, we were just like, let's get back to the car.
I think we had
Yeah.
17 climbs according to Hammerhead left after we left Adam.
Yeah, too many.
And we breezed through them pretty quick in that, what was that? How many miles do we have left? That was
I think
36
20.
he left us.
No. Did he?
I think
That means we had another 40 miles left, but I don't think we had 40 without Adam.
I know that I shaved off. I was going to shave off 10 miles had I finished the route, and I think that was 23 or 26. You guys had 33 or 36.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Which is still like 3 hours on the bike, you know?
Yeah.
Speed got a little bit faster. Roads got a little bit busier as we headed into Burlington. Hit the bike path, which was nice. Then
my
went
God.
through the city, got yelled at. Saw that guy in that cool
Seeing Lake
two-wheeler thing.
Champlain, like
Yep.
it
It was beautiful.
brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah, it was really nice. And then
Great
we
Lakes.
It's not even a great
It's
lake.
not a great lake.
I just realized that after the fact.
The Great Lakes.
What a fucking idiot.
Had me convinced at mile 250.
I also have footage of you saying a baker's dozen is 16.
I have all the
yeah.
wrong information.
A baker's
okay.
dozen is 13.
So yeah, we get back to the parking lot, and it's kind of it's kind of like, for me at least, I like opened up the Doritos I had been saving. We all had a couple, and then I just threw everything in my car and like was like, sorry, I gotta go.
I ate an apple.
Yeah.
Where'd you get an apple?
Oh, my mom has a couple apple trees in Vermont,
Whoa.
and she gave us all. Did everyone get bags of apples?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not.
I got snubbed.
Those apples.
You guys
are
didn't get
gone.
the apples?
No, dude,
Oh,
I
I
got
think you
snubbed.
guys arrived after the
Oh,
giving.
after the
You
apples.
I
guys,
had my
you guys
glass
arrived
breaker
after
on my knife.
after the giving of the apples.
Yeah. You
I
got
had my-
apple crisp.
I got apple crisp.
Yeah,
I had
we
my
did
glass
that.
breaker,
Oh, yeah,
my
we didn't
knife, and I was
talk
ready
about-
to punch Byron's
We
window.
didn't talk about the shakeout ride and going to Worthy Burger.
We went to Worthy Burger the night before. It was good.
It was
That's
worthy.
fine.
It was good. Still, it's already like an hour and a
We'll
half.
do another
podcast.
episode on just Friday.
Yeah, just Friday. So just like real quick before, I want to like have everyone's like sum up their drive home and like what the coming down, because it's fucking sucked. It was long as fuck. Adam sort of went over his already.
Last year, we stayed at my mom's on the way home,
Yes.
and
That was huge.
we
That would have
to do
been
that
smart.
again.
That
I'm
would have
never
been
driving
smart.
That
home.
was huge. It
That
was
drive
only,
sucks, dude.
it was
You're on
only an
89.
hour and a half afterwards. We stopped and we got Thai food on the way, and then we
Yeah, it
got
was
to
great.
sleep in the
That
bed.
you are
and
on
then-
89 for like 150 miles.
Yeah,
and you
it
go down.
sucked.
It's so long.
Me
Yeah.
and Brian were trying to find a Taco Bell. Doing
So-
everything in our power to find a Taco
So
Bell.
I guess if we're going to talk about the drive home, is this what you're going to say? I know I kind of cut you off.
No, yeah.
So we were gonna we were the last ones to leave the parking lot.
You too, Jeremy and Brian.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was the first one. Sam, you were after me.
Yep.
yeah. So we found a Taco Bell that was not too far away, which is I think is where the Chipotle that you went to that was closed
Yes.
for some reason because it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, it wasn't that
Infuriating.
We
Sucks.
found a Taco Bell and we pull up and it was a mall and we were like,
Must have been a
this
food
Taco
court.
Bell inside the fucking food court. So Jeremy and I find ourselves walking around in a mall after this.
That sucks.
We're walking around inside a mall and I'm like, first of all, I fucking hate malls. I would never go into a mall. And I think we walked maybe 2 minutes and we didn't
You're
see
like,
a
"No, I
food
hate
court
this.
and we're
I
like,
hate
we need
this.
to get
We're not
out of here.
doing this."
So we turn around and leave and then we see a Chipotle across the parking lot. So we're like, oh, sick. Drive over there. It's closed for no reason. It should have
Damn.
been open. There was a sign on the door. I didn't check it, but don't know why it was closed. And
said,
then I
like,
think we
closed
drove
for
for another, hour
renovations.
and a half
Yeah, the next
before
Taco,
find it.
Taco Bell was like I think it was an hour and a half from where we were in that mall parking lot, which was still like we were like 15 minutes away from where we started.
Yeah.
So we just started driving, just thinking about what our Taco Bell order was going to be that whole
Oh,
time.
we stopped and got food. We stopped and got snacks first at that
So your
gas
gas
station.
station.
Oh, right,
I
yeah,
ate I ate a bag of Chex Mix. Oh no, that was after Taco Bell.
No, we stopped at 2 gas stations. One before so you could get gas, and the other one we stopped.
Oh, yeah,
because you were
yeah.
still hungry.
We got $40 worth of Taco Bell.
Hell yeah.
Ate it
And-
like maniacs, like stray animals in the parking lot.
Slurping in the parking lot, just sucking
Remember
down.
how much fucking cheese they gave us?
Oh,
on
the
this thing?
cheese was excessive. But yeah, I ate a Crunchwrap Supreme, a chicken quesadilla, and a cheesy gordita crunch, and a Baja Blast with no ice because they ran out of ice.
That's sad.
Yeah,
That
and then I basically drove home with my eyes closed the rest of the way.
That's safe.
I just didn't tell Jeremy.
Yeah.
Well, we stopped.
I was like falling asleep.
we stopped at that gas station. What you got a?
I got an espresso. I got a Starbucks canned espresso.
Oh wow.
and
Cream
a,
of the crop.
A bag of Chex Mix because I needed something to keep me awake.
I
Yeah.
got a vanilla
So I'm just
Coke.
like, when I chew on things, it helps. So I'm
Helps,
just like
yeah.
slowly eating this bag of Chex Mix.
Trying to keep your eyes open.
Yeah,
he had it
fucking
between his
sucked.
legs the whole time. Just
Yeah.
it was like the endless bag of Chex Mix. Just
Meg got into my car the other day and she's like, eating some Chex Mix, huh? It's all over my seat.
Wow. Sam, how was your drive home? You went to the same Chipotle?
It was good. So I went to the same Chipotle and it was closed, which was terrible. And I went across the street to the Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Which
was
was
a
my
smart
Power move.
My
Smart
first
move.
ever Trader Joe's experience.
Wow.
Surprisingly.
TJ's is great.
Well,
It was
opening
great.
one in Providence, so
It was really packed, and the lady at the counter told me, she was like, I hope this doesn't ruin like your Trader Joe's experience, because I told her it was my first time. I was
You
like,
did?
yeah.
Oh, that's adorable. I love
Did she
that.
hold your hand and walk you through?
Oh, I honestly
This is
have
my
no
first
idea.
time.
I have no idea why I told her that, honestly. I was like a zombie walking
Yeah,
around
sure.
there.
So
This is my
tired.
first. He walks to the front door. This is my first.
Yeah, that's what I announced. No. And no, I was like, yeah, it was just a zombie. And I kind of did what we were doing the whole trip, which was just get nonsense. Like
Yeah.
nonsense food. Like
Yeah.
ton
Just
of
whatever
different
you
drinks.
feel like it.
Yeah. Got some fruit, pretzels, seltzer water,
I would have got a whole.
Milky
Sour.
Way.
Turn the mic off again. Why are you
touching
touching?
shit.
Why are you touching the button?
There was a Milky Way in there. I'm forgetting
hell yeah.
else, but a lot of snacking on the way home. I didn't turn on music for the longest time because I feel like my mind was just racing. Like,
Wow, interesting.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just like thinking about the trip and everything. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'll relax.
there's no way I would have been. I don't know how you guys all drove home alone. I feel like I would have.
Oh, it sucked.
A lot of Peter Gabriel. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would have fell asleep like an hour.
I hit a coffee. I stopped for 2 coffees.
Was I that
Oh, wow.
entertaining?
I didn't stop for
that
like
that
2.5
it was
hours.
some sort of buffer.
I got one immediately when I left, and then I made it down to like southern New Hampshire, and I got
Yeah.
another one, and then I made it the last like hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, I ended up driving like 2 hours before I stopped, and I ate all those Doritos, the tangy tamarind Doritos. They were mad good.
They was.
But then I stopped at a McDonald's, and I said like, "Hey, can I get a number 1 large with a Diet Coke?" And they were like, "Actually, we're out of Diet Coke." And I went, "Okay, I'll get that. I'll get a regular Coke and a spicy chicken sandwich." And they're saying, "All right, drive up." And so I drove up, and there were a couple cars in front of me, and I like sat there, and I was like, "I want a fucking Diet Coke." I've been thinking about a Diet Coke for like 3 days, let alone like 2 hours of driving. And so I just bounced. I left the line.
Oh, you didn't even pick up
I
your.
left the line. I did not pick up my order
Oh,
because
well,
I
you didn't pay anyways.
no,
so.
I didn't pay.
That's amazing.
And I was like,
Fuck McDonald's.
if this McDonald's doesn't have Diet Coke, it's probably trash.
Fill the machine.
So I ended
That's
up
all you have to
stopping at
do.
one of the ones like in New Hampshire that's like with like a gas station and stuff. Ended up going to McDonald's, but I also went to the general store and got like a Hostess cake or something too with my Big Mac.
Nutritious.
Yeah, very nutritious. And then drove home and like showered and went to bed so fast and like
I don't even remember what time we got back.
I don't remember getting home.
such a high of a ride and then such a shit drive home.
Yeah, breaking
My
up
bike is in the exact same spot that
Really?
I put
In
it
your
in
house?
that night.
Yeah.
Unwashed with half the bags still hanging on them with stuff still in them.
I just cleaned my bike yesterday, so
I
I'm not
cleaned
much
mine I
better.
think the next day or something.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah,
also
it took-
trying to sell it
Took
now.
me like 3 days.
Yeah.
I need to, maybe I'll wash
Sam,
it.
cleaning your bike or anything?
Cleaned my bike yesterday.
Yeah.
Unpacked it the day after. Yeah.
Oh, I washed those clothes the next day. I was like,
Oh, yeah,
this
I
can't
washed
sit in
my
my
I
house.
washed the
Yeah.
clothes, yeah,
But
right
my,
away.
My
But
yeah.
tools and shit.
my
are
bags
still
were still on there. My bottles were still in the cages until yesterday.
Damn,
So
throw them out.
Like Jeremy
Yeah.
said,
burn them.
I didn't add like those spacers or whatever. So
Yeah,
I
some
do have some scratches, but
yeah.
spirit of gravel,
Is
baby.
that the extent
Hell
of
yeah.
everybody's damage to their bike?
Yeah, my bike is
What?
fine. My frame is taped like everywhere that it
Yeah,
could
I put
get
tape
hit,
all
so,
over mine,
yeah.
too.
Especially the gravel bike,
Smart.
it's
Yeah, I didn't
excessively
get
taped.
any.
Yeah.
Smart.
I don't really care about it anyways. It's
My
all
rear
good.
wheel has a tube in it still.
I'm convinced that bike companies just came up with the idea of gravel just
Just sell
so
more bikes.
people spend more money. It's just like, yeah, buy this bike and break it.
Yeah, the spirit of gravel is just making more money.
Yeah, I'm like afraid. I'm afraid to look over my bike to see if there's like any cracks or damage. You know?
Yeah,
That
Because-
is the one thing I'm stoked about that Cannondale is like I paid nothing for it,
Yeah.
so like I just like throw it on the ground and I wouldn't even care.
That's what I want.
It's a nice feeling. It is a nice feeling.
That is
to
so
have a bike.
funny
And it's a
because
great bike.
paying nothing for it is such a relative term. If you told someone, just
That's
Joe
true.
Schmo,
Like,
I
mean,
paid
a
nothing for it.
$1,500.
It was
Yeah.
essentially free.
Right.
$1,500 for like a decent.
We know
group
that's a
set,
good deal.
and-
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Right, but you're right. But it like perspective
you,
has
Donnie
a lot to do
Green.
with it.
It's such a first world thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What a
And
piece
a
of
power
junk.
meter.
Piece of shit. $1,500.
Throw this on the ground.
Kick it.
All right, real
shit.
quick before we get out of here, I just
Garbage.
like everyone to say like their high point and low point of the ride. I can start. My low point was definitely getting the flat, like 100% getting the flat. And And my high point of the ride was literally and figuratively when I got to the top of Lincoln Gap. Yeah. For me, last year I did get off the bike for maybe a quarter of a mile last year, and this year I did not, and I felt a lot better about that. And I don't know, I just felt like I paced myself better on the climb than I did last year, and I felt very accomplished. So that's my high point and low point of the trip.
What was your biggest regret of the trip?
My biggest regret, I don't know. I don't want to say saying yes to work the next day, but I think that had a lot to do with my stress on the last day.
That's a great
one. I did 9 hours of manual labor the next day. I took a vacation day.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely didn't do manual labor, but I was on set shooting a commercial for 10 hours, so I was on my feet for 10 hours.
It
was I got home, I ended up getting in bed at midnight, and I had come home to emails about that shoot. So I had to fix the shot list and schedule that morning, and then drive an hour, work 10 hours, and then drive home. And I was like, fuck. But so I don't know. It's not like I regret taking the work. It was a fine shoot day, but it really added to my stress, I think. And I think that was my biggest regret for my thought process of the whole thing. What about you?
Do you want the whole thing?
I want
high point, low point, regret.
Yeah.
No regrets.
Yeah. In whatever order you want to give them.
I'll start with the high point. Was the sit down shower in the church.
Hell yeah!
Funny because that might have been a low point in physical.
Wow. Yeah. To anybody else, relatively sitting down in a church shower.
$1,500 bikes are cheap.
Body
sitting in a shower is fun.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was my high point.
Yeah.
Low point was sleeping on the ground in my tent, freezing my ass off.
Night one.
Yeah, night one.
Yeah.
I was very sad. Very low morale at that point.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, regret. I think my biggest regret is just not preparing as well. Obviously, I should have brought a mattress pad or a heavier sleeping bag and tested the setup a little bit more.
Yep.
I have a tendency to just not
wing it.
There's nothing wrong
wing
with that.
it. Yeah, actually, that's
My
the whole
favorite
thing
was
is a
when
learning
we're setting
experience.
up our tent, and you were asking me how to do it.
Yes.
And I was like, "You had never set your tent up, have you?"
I hate being
No.
disappointed beforehand. So I'm maybe
I'll
I'll
just be disappointed when it's
I'd rather
freezing.
be disappointed I just have a lot of faith in the decisions that I make. So I'm just
yeah,
it's gonna work out. We'll make it work out. So that's probably my biggest regret. But I also I didn't do any real maintenance to my bike besides changing my chain because that was the easiest thing I could do. I changed my chain. I should have changed my rear brake pads because my brake pads are non-existent right now. It's like shavings.
yeah.
Well, I think
You didn't change them after Overland?
no.
Yeah, that's a brake
They're making-
clapper right there.
Yeah. Oh my god, they're so clapped. And I was I went into it knowing that I didn't change my brake pads when I should have. So I was mostly stopping with my front wheel, my front brakes. And I'm predominantly a back brake
Person.
gal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But we made it, so
Hell yeah, we made it.
no
Sam?
regrets.
High point, low point. Yeah, what do you want first? Low point?
Low point of the trip was post burrito donut. First night,
Yep.
15 miles. Saying the distance. Yeah, 15 mile. That was the low point. High point was, I guess, just all the stops. And I can't even say one.
Yeah.
I guess I go into every ride with the bike racer mentality of I need to finish this as soon as I clip in.
Yeah.
I need to be at the end.
Yeah.
And it was just weird, hanging out at each stop when I normally don't do that. And we're 150 miles in and we're just chilling. It's
Yeah. Interesting.
totally not me.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and the food and stuff was fun at every stop. So that was my high, just all the stops.
Yeah. Any regrets?
Regrets? I know it's stupid, but I guess I regret bringing my rain jacket.
Yeah. Because it was one extra thing that you didn't need.
Yeah, I don't know. I had that on my pack the whole time. Regrets, but I don't know. Didn't really
You
regret.
never know.
Didn't regret much. Never know. Who knows?
If
I don't
you
know.
needed that wouldn't have been a regret.
That's a
You
good
would have
point.
loved
Yeah.
it,
So
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really have any regrets, I guess.
Hell
Yeah. I was the first one to shower at the church. I wish I waited for the water to heat up for longer.
Thank you for heating that
Yeah,
up.
thanks for
Yeah.
heating it up for us.
Yeah, I thought we had a cold shower. I was like, wow, they're going to be so pissed. But it was only me. So
Adam? High point, low point?
My low point was the knee in
Yeah.
the ending. That's easy.
Yeah.
High point,
Regret not having a stronger knee?
Yeah, regrets get better knees.
High point when my knee was fine. Regret. Nah.
This guy just gonna be talking about his knee for the next year. Poor guy.
The regret, I guess, before I get to the high point, the regret was I wish I packed a midweight jacket, which is why I brought that raffle one that hopefully will be in tomorrow, because I had it was either dry fit shirt with a technical tee or down. I didn't really have anything in between. That would have been
same.
Yeah, so that's what I really needed. That was my regret. High point could have been Lincoln Gap. This is the second time this year that I've done it, and that was with a way heavier bike. But I was happy to clean a lot of those class 4 sections, like the climbs on that, and not get off like that. Yeah, I like that stuff. So
the shit's rewarding as hell.
Yeah.
Yep. Crazy technical. Brian?
High point would be the same Lincoln Gap, completing it like 3 minutes faster than last year, and being on the bicycle the whole time. So high point for sure there. Low point was probably the first night using my helmet as a pillow and freezing my ass off.
Yeah.
It's a game changer of a night.
Yeah.
I mean, but think about what it spawned.
yeah,
The church.
The church.
which is definitely that was an easy high point.
Which,
I almost
like,
said
yeah,
that was
like
a
we
high
were
point.
chilling.
Yeah,
Same.
That was sick.
that was awesome.
Yeah, that's an easy high point for sure.
Yeah, that I guess that would also be a high point, was like being in
for
that
sure.
church and like all of us hanging out and like having a good time.
Oh my God, it got so silly at some point.
Vibes were high.
Brian's got a video where
We're in
I
a
got my
church.
shirt off. We're in a church.
Shirtless in a church.
Got a 3-bay.
Got fucking cupcakes.
Yeah.
And then regret would probably be don't drive home the night of.
Yeah.
Have some sort of
Anything. Even just a fucking Airbnb in the middle or something.
yeah, definitely stop at my mom's again.
We could have all eaten like dinner and like reflected more, and
Yeah.
instead we all just like
Drove
got
home
in our
in
cars.
solitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam hasn't listened to music since.
I'm thinking to myself.
Just drove home in silence.
Yeah. I haven't gotten back to a normal eating schedule since. I feel like I've been eating garbage
Yeah.
since we left for that trip.
Yeah.
So I need to get my shit back together. But that's fine. I've been all over the place.
I mean, it was fucking great, right?
It was an awesome.
Yeah.
trip.
We're gonna
We'll
do it again next year or something similar.
It was
Maybe
fantastic.
it and something else. and-
PTXL.
PTXL would be
Yeah.
cool.
right. I'll just
Especially-
bleep that out so no one else.
Yeah, no one else is allowed to come, but
sorry.
we'll let you know how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we have to do it first. Then we'll open it up next
Yeah,
year.
nobody.
This sounds too inclusive.
You can't sit with
kidding. Well,
us.
Brian St. Pierre, edit this out.
Yeah.
Just cut this part.
Hey, Brian St. Pierre.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was fucking great, right? I mean, you're always going to have a high point and a low point, and like I think saying like what our regrets are, might help us like learn in the future. So I think that was great. Thanks for bringing that up, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything else they want to say before we get out of here? This may be the longest episode of the podcast, but a 3-day bike trip deserves it, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You should try it. It was fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Do the route.
Probably the most fun I've had on the bike.
Hell yeah. Same. Definitely like a top 5 ride for me.
If it's something that a listener wants to actually go to every brewery, do it in 4 to 5 days.
Yeah, good point.
Otherwise, it's pretty much impossible. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, great.
I got one thing to say.
Please.
This is probably the most difficult thing to organizing a trip like this is, but find some friends that are willing to do this with you, because it's hard to be friends with people. So
it is. You're right.
Find
and
good
it was great. Like I think Brian and I had a lot of fun doing it last year, but doing it with fucking 5 people was that much better.
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
I hope we have 10 people next year.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, let us know. Like, you can email me via the links in the podcast, or like you can go to our website, it's justahill.com, and send an email there. And some people have asked us questions on our YouTube video from last year. We're going to put out a YouTube video for this year. And so like let us know if you have any questions about it, or you just want to pick our brains. And, I just would love one more person to ask me what width tires I used.
That is still our most viewed video, which is
and it was
interesting.
It's got over 10K. It's like 11 or 12,
Yeah,
right?
interesting that
You like
particular-
Vermont? Try Italy.
yeah.
You like Greylock? Yeah,
I still can't get over that.
It is interesting that particular video has the most views. I
Yeah.
don't know what the allure to it is. I mean, it is a popular route.
A lot
Right.
of people are probably just interested in doing that route, so they
I have
just
faith
like
that
look up.
There's really no other videos documenting it. So Joe
Right.
Cruz, if you need a
film crew.
film guy,
Yeah. Come at us. Hit
I
us
think
up.
it'll be good, this one, too.
Ted Cruz.
Oh, this one will
We
be
got
better.
a lot of footage, yeah.
This one will be better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No
Definitely.
pressure, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be hilarious.
Oh, I think it's
gotta
gonna be
I already got an
before we
idea
go.
for it.
Or
I
my,
just
SD
I need
card.
everybody's SD card.
Yeah, I gotta get that to you.
All right, let's give Jeremy our SD cards and get the hell out of here. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's do it again next year and more fun trips. Hell, let's just go camping in Connecticut or something.
Hell yeah.
It's close.
Hell yeah, brother.
Wow, Adam says no. Adam hates Connecticut.
That's where Lyme disease was.
That is true.
There is the Brattleboro overnighter.
Yep, let's do that one. Let's let's do that one with some of our friends that maybe are intimidated by a 3-day trip. Just
Fuck
do a
yeah.
nice one-night trip to Brattleboro.
That sounds fun, actually. Yeah.
So, hell yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Right, I mentioned the website. Check us out on Strava, Facebook, YouTube. Like and subscribe. Please do all of those things. We beg of you.
Please.
Please. And, until the next one. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.
Decaf left, regular right. Decaf left, regular right. It's very challenging work.